90% supported taking industrial action to support the inclusion of minimum international staffing levels for safety, better fatigue management and pay rises. But the union says that won't happen over Easter. Branch Secretary Wes Garrett says right now some airports around Australia are not meeting the minimum international staffing standards for a safe response to a critical incident.
Rail services on the Outer Harbour line will be restricted this week as work progresses on the $51 million Port Dock rail line project. Buses will replace trains between Woodville Station and Outer Harbour Station. Economists are predicting another hold on interest rates as the Reserve Bank prepares to hand down their decision. The cash rate has remained steady at 4.35% since November last year. Many are tipping there won't be any change until towards the end of the year. Economist Chris Richardson says it's a delicate balancing act.
Inflation continues to head down, and probably more than the Reserve Bank had been expecting. The bad news, and also weighing on the interest rate outlook, unemployment continuing to climb, and it has the potential to keep climbing at a rate, again, faster than the Reserve Bank expected.
Australia's peak body for the exercise and active health sector is lobbying the federal government to let workers claim their gym memberships on tax. Oz Active says chronic disease is costing the health system $27 billion. A lot of this could be avoided. CEO Barry Elvish says Aussies could be having a better quality of life.
In Australia, the average age when we die is 83. The average healthy life is 70. So we have 13 years of our life which is basically in deterioration.
Housing supply is expected to dip to its lowest level by 2026, leaving the nation short of its goal to build 1.2 million homes by 2029. Analysis by the Urban Development Institute shows just 79,000 new homes will be finished in the year, down 26% compared with last year. Stormy Summers is being remembered as one of Adelaide's most colourful characters. Mel Usher reports.
Stormy Summers, the controversial madam with a brothel in the city for many years, has died at the age of 77. She succumbed to a short illness in hospital on Sunday night. Stormy lived life to the fullest. There were multiple marriages, a run for Lord Mayor, and her campaigning for sex workers' rights. She emigrated from Holland as a toddler, ended up becoming a stripper in Sydney, and even performed for troops overseas with Bob Hope in the 1960s. A documentary about her life is in the works. She was involved in the project over the past year.
Now turning to FIVEAA Sport.
Agostino Mitsubishi's Good to Go giveaway is on now. Receive a bonus $1,000 fuel card on 2023 Build Outlander.
And good morning, Tom Wren.
And a very good morning to you as well, Graham. The chairman of the AFL's newest side isn't speculating on the outcome of Saturday's Tasmanian election. The Tasmanian Devils have been officially launched, the team to wear a green, yellow and red jumper, but a new roofed stadium that was part of the licence agreement is in doubt. If Labor wins the election, it's vowing to renegotiate the deal. The AFL stance remains no stadium, no team. Chairman Grant O'Brien telling Wide World of Sports he'll wait and see for the election result.
There isn't any political party or individual politician that I know of that's not in support of the club. Some have got different ideas on the stadium, but that's part of our job is to work with them to make sure that what's agreed between the AFL and the Tasmanian government is put into place in the way and the time that's been described.
Let's stick with footy. Tonight's training session for the Crows looms as a crucial one for veteran Taylor Walker as he tries to prove he's overcome a back injury. Port will also train today as they prepare for Sunday's clash with Richmond on Sunday at the MCG, and that will be Travis Boak's 350th game. Well, practice for this weekend's Formula One Grand Prix in Melbourne begins in 2 days. Former world champion Alan Jones has questioned Ferrari's move to recruit Lewis Hamilton and suggested the 7-time champion's best racing was behind him. This will be Hamilton's final appearance in Melbourne for Mercedes. And a second team has been docked in the English Premier League for breaching spending rules. Nottingham Forest has been hit with a 4-point deduction, dropping it into the relegation zone. And that's the FIVEAA Sport.
The FIVEAA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automaster's technician.
A shower or two today, heading for 24 degrees. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, 21. Thursday, sunny, 24. Friday, 24, also mostly sunny. Right now in town, it's 18. More news as it happens on FIVEAA.
Why pick one city, one beach, one restaurant, or one view? With Celebrity Cruises, you can have it all. Explore the best of Australia, New Zealand, Europe and Asia on ships that are destinations themselves. And now get 75% off your second guest, plus bonus savings on select dates. See celebrity.com/au, call 1800 003 002 or contact your travel advisor.
For over 3 decades, Regent Homes has been synonymous with crafting architecturally bespoke homes, each one a testament to Regent Homes' unwavering commitment to design, quality and sophistication. And because Regent Homes is a South Australian family-owned company, they understand more than anyone what it takes to build a family home. Experience Regent Homes' award-winning display homes at Lightsview and Blackwood Park. Innovative design, elevated living. Visit regenthomes.com.au.
Don't miss the legendary Gladys Knight for one last time as the Empress of Soul returns to Australia in 2024 for a final celebration of soul. Witness Gladys Knight perform all her greatest hits live on stage at Festival Theatre Adelaide on Thursday, March 21. Gladys Knight, the farewell tour. Tickets on sale now at Ticketek. Presented by MG Live, Frontier Touring and Arena Touring.
Now at the Harvey Norman Clearance Centre Marion. TVs, audio, fridges, washers, ovens, cooktops, even the kitchen sink. Have a look today with new stock arriving weekly, and it all comes with manufacturer's warranty. Harvey Norman Clearance Centre, 919 Marion Road, Marion. Run-out models, scratch and dent, refurbished stock and new lines. White goods, kitchen and laundry appliances, home entertainment and more. Come see us at the Harvey Norman Clearance Centre. One location, 919 Marion Road, Marion.
Go! The news and issues that matter to South Australia. Always Adelaide. This is 5AA.
Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling businesses. Go on, touch base, search RWC Business Sales.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
8 minutes after 6, good morning to you. Welcome to Tuesday on 5AA Breakfast. It is the 19th of March. We've got a jury trial coming up a little bit later in the program today. We'll chat with Phil Curry in the nation's capital for the week ahead in federal politics. Jess Adamson's going to join us after. A terrific report by Mel Usher in 5AA News just a moment ago regarding the death of Stormy Summers. She's done a lot of work on her life. We'll talk to her about that after 8 o'clock today. And of course, we don't have a show without you. 8223 You can call in and have you say on absolutely anything you like, or indeed shoot us a text on the Duttons text line. Big 10 Ford, GWM Haval, Hyundai, Isuzu Ute, Mazda, Mitsubishi, Nissan Ram, Subaru and Volkswagen. Duttons, easy to do business with. Morning to you, David.
Good morning, Will. Good morning, listeners. Good to be here on a much milder Tuesday. This is the start of the relative coolness from today. It was still muggy yesterday, wasn't it? It was really, really consistently warm.
Got hotter than I expected it to yesterday.
The last couple of months has been something else. It's been a genuine summer, but we're getting into the cooler part of the year now.
24 the top today, but to look at it on the forecast, I went, oh God, that's cold. But in any other time, 24 is a totally reasonable, comfortable and enjoyable temperature.
Yeah, it's not cold.
It's not cold, but relative to what we've had, you look at it and go, crikey, that's...
Yeah, it's been quite rare to have a day under 30. So if you're planning on doing anything physical, it'll be much more amenable to you today. Yeah, Stormy Summers, what a life. It's crazy, isn't it, to think, this is people like her who chose to live a completely libertine and permissive life. How you going with that microphone there, Will?
It's driving me nuts, David. I'm about to swear live on the air. It's set to self-destruct mode.
Will's about to make radio history. Well, it wouldn't be radio history. Quite a few people have sworn on the air over the years. Bob Francis used to swear a bit, didn't he?
Yeah, he swore more than made it to air, though, because he dumped himself a lot.
You worked with him, didn't you, producing a few times?
I filled in for him a few times, and I was on after him a lot. So I did mid-dawns a lot when he was around.
So you'd see the final sort of hour of the show up close.
Yeah, it was great.
And he'd often, just to keep his sort of momentum and spirit up, he'd often swear at people and then hit the dump button on himself.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So that meant the person who was being sworn at would hear it.
They would hear it and no one else. Well, the other people on the line would hear it too, which was a little thing that not many people know about. If you're waiting to come on, you get to hear it too. So those people would often react, and people listening at home would go, they go, oh, Bob, you really gave her what for?
Probably, you know what I find really amazing? Both my grandmothers, well, one of them was like a lifelong Methodist, Grandma Penworthy, Granny Penn. Grandma Fitz was a lot more knockabout, but they were both very sort of chaste and proper. They love Bob Francis.
Yeah, so did my grandmother.
Particularly my Grandma Penn, she was the most... like, I never saw her have a drink. You know, she never remarried after my grandfather died young. She went to church every Sunday down at the Methodist Church at Marion. She never missed a single Bob Francis show. And I find that so strange. That someone who was so morally conservative loved his program.
He was very theatrical. It was less of today's version of the monologue doing shock jock than it was a performance, a piece of performance art. Because he would go between being, hello love, how are you this evening, to saying other ththings that I wouldn't repeat on the air. And back and forth in between the whole time. Like it wasn't just a constant diatribe. It was
yeah. Because he had that real gentleness.
Totally.
But then suddenly he'd call someone a silly old cow.
Yeah, they upset him.
How do we get on to Bob Francis?
I was about to swear about my microphone exploding on me over here.
That's right. No, Wally the Walnut texted in, no more stormy summers. Imagine if she'd become Lord Mayor. At least it doesn't sound stuck up like some of the others. P.S. I never used her services. Good on you, Wally.
We won't explore any of that, Wally. Beyond the comments on the City Council that are on the front page of the Advertiser today. So the City Council's in all sorts of financial strife.
Can you believe this story?
To the extent that they're having to bump rates up 7.4% increase in fees and charges and whatnot. The figures around their ability to service a loan that keeps them going are pretty striking. So according to the Tiser's analysis, and they say they've seen council documents, borrowings will increase by nearly 25 million to 72 million in the next year's budget. An operating surplus of 4.6 million needed next year and 5.8 from the year after it, just to sustainably repay the debt.
I think one of the most amazing figures in this story is this one, talking about the years-long project by the Lord Mayor to plant nearly 500 new trees. Listen to these numbers. That $9.7 million project would cost about $20,000 per mature tree on average. $20,000 per tree. How is that even remotely possible? Now, when I did my entire front yard, right, all natives, all native plants, I went to that terrific native plant nursery at Cherry Gardens. What's it on? Rod and Spur Road, is that what it's called? Anyway, it's a fantastic native plant nursery. There was one expensive plant. The whole thing, all the plants for the front yard, cost about $1,300, and that included a coastal banksia, which is a huge tree, which cost me barely anything. There was one expensive plant in that lot, and it was $800, and it was an Australian grass tree. You know, they used to be called black boys in a less politically correct era. Xanthorrhea is its proper name, and they are majestic and rare and unique, and they take hundreds of years to reach maturity, so that's why they cost you that much. What trees is the council buying? $20,000? Are they buying sequoias from California and shipping them in on
and they're flying
frigates,
flying private?
Yeah, business class. It's extraordinary. How is that even possible?
It's ludicrous.
How is that possible? Like, there are so many street trees that grow quick.
But
Queensland box, jacarandas, just stick them in, watch them grow.
Yeah, but it's not even an incurred cost. That's a future plan cost. I mean, this is the council that's paying, what, $1 million a year for the aquatic centre? Like, eventually, your financial decisions catch up with you, don't they? But they don't really catch up with the council. They catch up with ratepayers. And they catch up with small businesses and businesses of all sizes in the city.
So imagine that. You're running a coffee shop in Perry Street. You've seen 50% of your customers no longer come in because they're all mooching around on the couch pretending that they're working at home. And on top of that, you got these half-wits doing this to you.
Mm.
It's extraordinary.
Yeah, it is.
How amazing, though. Like, it seems to be bipartisan state-level political agreement that you just go, oh, well, that's just them being useless, and let's just not do anything about it.
Yeah, they're like a neutral zone.
Why? Why not? You know, when you look at what all the different clubs from the Adelaide Comets to the Adelaide Crows have to deal with, and all the private schools, you know, being treated like illegal squatters for having sports facilities on parklands that have been there since the 19th century in some cases, and now they're paying money to do audits of how many private organisations have got. Oh, you know, Pulteney's got a football shed. Well, whoopee-doo. Let them fix it up. You know, other people can use that green space anyway.
Exactly.
But, you know, the total cost of all of this, not to forget, paying law firms and consultants to do investigations into their own misbehaviour.
Yeah.
And the fact that inquiry happened, rightly, it ended up, though, being one of the reasons why the former CEO went.
We'll talk more about that over the course of the morning.
I'm on a roll here. I'll
Yeah,
shut up.
It's good.
I'll
Save it for later.
Right.
We'll talk more about it after 7 o'clock. Short break, then we'll jump into the news headlines.
City Discount Tires. Get saving this month at City Discount Tires. Grab 3 Falcon Zeek ZE 310R passenger car tires and get the 4th tyre absolutely free. Experience top-notch performance with exceptional grip on both wet and dry surfaces. Steer your way to citydiscounttires.com.au for even more great deals. City Discount Tires. We're driven by value.
City Discount Tires. Fresh nuts, melt-in-your-mouth chocolates, and eye-popping Easter gifts. G'day folks, I'm Brett Charlesworth, and there are 3 irresistible reasons to visit Charlesworth Nuts and make your family's Easter extra special. And here's 3 more. We're South Australian, we're 4th generation and still family owned, and on the Tuesday before Easter, Charlesworth Nuts turns 90 years young. You're always welcome at our 11 family-owned stores or shop online. Why Charlesworth? Because fresh nuts taste better.
It's Edward here from Edwardstown Mazda.
Thanks, Edward. I've got this. And it's big news.
How big?
Really big. Edwardstown Mazda have extended their sale with huge Mazda factory bonuses across a wide range of Mazdas. Plus, get a $2,000 trade-in bonus on top of your trade-in price. Only available at Edwardstown Mazda.
Wow.
I know, right? Wow.
Play the jingle sing.
It's gotta be
Edwardstown Mazda. T's and C's apply.
If your business needs finance fast, speak to Universal Finance right now. Universal Finance make business loans easy. Unsecured business loans and business overdrafts. Universal Finance can help your business now with same-day settlements in most cases. See Universal Finance in Kent Town or search Universal Finance. This is general advice only, and you should consider the terms and conditions before determining whether this advice is suitable for your situation.
Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling businesses. Go on, touch base, search RWC Business Sales.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
20 minutes after 6, a reminder too, you can watch along in the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream. Still dark outside in the city at the moment. It's going to get lighter, but it's not going to get a whole lot warmer. It's a pretty nice sort of an evening. We'll do the weather in just a moment. First, though, some good news to kick us off in the news headlines. Aviation firefighters have postponed industrial action until after the Easter long weekend. There was a real concern yesterday that flights across the Easter weekend from Adelaide Airport would be delayed or cancelled entirely. The United Firefighters Union has voted strongly in favour of future action if safe minimum staffing standards and fatigue management isn't brought in. 90% of members voted in favour of industrial action. Aviation Branch Secretary Wes Garrett says current understaffing is creating unsafe conditions.
We take our job seriously, and there is a risk to safety. If in the event of a major air disaster at any of the airports in Australia, we need to have properly equipped, properly staffed aviation, fire and rescue services ready to respond at a moment's notice.
So if you're travelling over the Easter long weekend, Very good news for you. It won't be disrupted by this at very least. Rail services on the Outer Harbour Line will be restricted this week as work progresses on the $51 million Port Dock Rail Line project. Buses will replace trains between Woodville Station and Outer Harbour Station. The E-Safety Commissioner says social media giant TikTok is the only company which hasn't signed up to a global anti-extremism pact. Julie Inman-Grant has issued legal notices to several tech companies, forcing them to explain what steps have been taken to remove terrorist and extremist material from their sites. She's now setting her sights on TikTok.
They seem quite laid back about all this stuff, don't they?
They really
Social
do.
media giants.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Their whole policy could be best summarised as whoops-a-daisy. Whenever anything foul gets put up, like, the Christchurch massacre or whatever, it's like, oh, yeah, there's a bit of rotten bit of luck, wasn't it? Imagine if the advertiser decided to live stream a massacre, and then the next day the editor came out and said, "Well, it's not hard. If you think it's easy, just try." Like, we get so many things get sent to us all the time. You get laughed out of town.
Yeah. Tactically, it certainly makes a statement in the midst of a US government push to have their rights sold. You say, you know what? Anti-extremism. Come on.
Yeah. Not really reading the mood of the time.
I wouldn't have thought.
The zeitgeist.
As we've been talking about,
Germans call it.
there are tributes today for Stormy Summers after her death at the age of 77, just a couple of days short of her 78th birthday. She had, of course, had a brothel in the city for many years, made lots of headlines over that time, and we'll be chatting with Jess Adamson about her life a little bit later in the morning. Donald Trump has been unable to come up with a $454 million bond in a civil fraud judgment. He was found guilty of inflating the value of his real estate holdings to secure loans. The court has signalled it will begin seizing his assets if he's unable to come up with the amount. And, of course, today, it's all out of kilter these days compared to what it used to be, but today's RBA decision day, albeit it's a two-day meeting now. Today they'll make the announcement on what the determination on interest rates is. This expectation for everyone is that they'll be put on hold today. They've remained steady at 4.35%.
So they've already made the decision, they're just announcing it today?
Well, it's a two-day meeting process now, so I'm not sure at what point actually in the 2 days they reach the decision. But today's the part where they announce it.
Imagine going to a two-day meeting.
Well, it's all you. I mean, it's only 11 meetings a year now.
Well,
or
that's
9
true.
meetings a year, whatever it is. They reduced it down to.
They probably are the meetings, eh?
Yeah, you're probably right.
They probably do lots of meetings.
Yeah, but I reckon they love meetings.
Meetings.
Some people love meetings.
The worst thing in the world.
You had me at meetings are the
You
worst
had
thing
me
in the
at
world.
hello.
Here's economist Chris Richardson saying the whole issue now about when rates come down is a delicate balancing act.
Inflation continues to head down, and probably more than the Reserve Bank had been expecting. The bad news, and also weighing on the interest rate outlook, unemployment continuing to climb, and it has the potential to keep climbing at a rate, again, faster than the Reserve Bank expected.
Sam Chisholm from Channel 9, the late great Sam Chisholm, he's the one who said losers have meetings, winners have lunch. It's not a knock on your colleagues. Colleagues are good. Sitting around talking about stuff in a spontaneous or casual way is what makes working great.
I subscribe to that theory 99.9%, except for the RBA, who I much prefer have a meeting to determine monetary policy and not to sit around over a couple of bottles of red at the pub.
That's right.
At 24, the expected top today.
How hard can it be?
Up to 1 mil of rain potentially, which would be notable. Over the next few days, there's not a 30 on the forecast. 21 tomorrow, 24 Thursday with an overnight low of 11, 24 Friday, 25 Saturday, 25 on Sunday, and then it warms up again Monday. We'll get to 28. Tom Wren is in the 5AA Breakfast studio with us. Agostina Mitsubishi's Good to Go giveaway is on now. Receive a bonus $1,000 fuel card on the 2023 Build Outlander. Morning to you, Rennie.
Morning, Will. Morning, David. The Tasmanian side, 19th AFL licence. There's a bit going on with this story, so we'll start with the official launch and the logo and the colours, and then we'll hear from a couple of Tasmanian greats, Matthew Richardson, Jack Revolt. Let's have a listen to how it all unfolded last night.
Your Devils! Be representing 150 years of history. That's how long we've been playing this great game down here. So I think we're overdue for this, aren't we? After 150 years.
this is the dawn of the new era of Tasmanian football. And whilst we are now named and we now have a logo, this will be felt at grassroots level too.
So, look, no surprises. Tasmanian Devils, they got over that copyright with Warner Brothers. That all got announced. That was Matthew Richardson and then Jack Revolt talking about it. They're obviously right behind it, proud Tasmanians. But then the devil, pardon the pun, might be in the detail because we've got the state election on Saturday.
Correct.
And if Labor gets in, they're saying we're going to renegotiate. Now, the AFL said no stadium, no deal. So they've got this roof stadium that they're going to build, but...
But why should the taxpayers have to foot the entire bill for it when the AFL is going to make most of the money? Where's the logic in that?
Well, this is where it gets tricky, isn't it?
How much did we get for the Adelaide Oval redevelopment?
I don't think we got barely anything.
Yeah.
From the government?
No, from the AFL.
No, from the AFL.
The taxpayers did it. And that's the...
Well, it's the precedent that's been set over the years, isn't it?
Yeah.
And, we pay for gather round, but the argument, and Andrew Dillon would be making the same argument to whoever's in charge in Tasmania. So, all right, look, you're going to get this stadium, but you're going to get all these visitors. It's going to be great for hospitality. They'd show them the patented Leon Bignell back of a beer coaster multiplier to tell them how much it's going to inject into the Tasmanian economy.
That's why I felt the whole thing yesterday to me felt a bit cart before the horse. I thought, I'm finding it hard to get excited about this when in 4 days it might all be over.
Matthew Denholm is the Australian newspaper's Tasmanian correspondent. I'll read you the first two parts of his piece about it. He was there yesterday. Amid all the hoopla associated with the launch of Tassie's new AFL team lurks an MCG-sized party pooper. Put simply, it may never happen. Monday night celebrations are like a wedding reception for nuptials the bride and groom have not yet said I do to.
Yeah.
So your analysis is bang on, Tom.
Yeah. So I don't know enough about the politics as to who's going to get in there.
It's unfathomable, Tasmanian politics.
So
you can hardly ever win a majority because it's a different voting system.
Right.
It's like a...
Hare Clark.
That's it.
Yeah.
To put it in a sporting context, it's the political equivalent of what happens when it's raining in the cricket.
Duckworth-Lewis.
Yeah.
Another hyphenated.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. No, that's... Well, it's going to be fascinating. And 2028's the date they want to come into the competition. So this was obviously a step last night, but like you said, it might be a misstep.
Hey, haven't the last 24 hours shown that everyone has run out of patience with the Adelaide Football Club?
It happens quickly, doesn't it?
Yeah. Like Robbo's piece.
Yep.
Bucks tipping a bucket on them last night. And I think these guys are 100% in sync with the fans. This is the year the club can't make any excuses.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you who that... It probably... Is it an indictment that Taylor Walker's probably still their most important player?
Yes, absolutely it is.
Yeah.
He's a 34-year-old with the fortunes of the Adelaide Football Club this year feel like they rest entirely on the shoulders of a man whose back went picking up his 2-year-old the other day.
And has to train tonight, yeah. Don't pick up the kids' legs. Hey, you mentioned Clark before. This, I'm not sure if you've seen it, Pembo, but Wyndham Clark yesterday, I was following it like a hawk. He had this putt from about 18 feet to tie the tournament with Scotty Scheffler. Scotty Scheffler right now is as good as dominant as Tiger Woods was 20 years ago. It's as close to Tiger. His tee to green stuff is unrivaled. If he gets his putting right, which he has, no one will touch him. And he's worked his putter out. He's changed putters. Anyway, he led by a shot. Wyndham Clark had an 18-footer on the 18th to tie it and force it to a playoff. This happened.
Unbelievable! How did that not drop? But Scotty Scheffler is the 50th Players' Champion.
And the first ever to go back-to-back in the tournament's history. But just to put it in perspective for those that didn't see it, it did the full horseshoe. It was in the whole way. It was more in than it was out.
There was a bit of weirdness that went on in the tournament. Did you see the putt that lingered on the hole for 40 seconds?
And then went in?
But like at the end of Caddyshack.
But he was charged a one-stroke penalty because it didn't go in within the right amount of time.
So what happens, you get 10 seconds, and a lot of the players often stand and they wait for about 10 or 15 seconds, and it is a bit of a hazy line because they're praying there'll be a gust of wind to blow it in. A bit like Tiger Woods, remember when he's winning at the Masters? When he chipped that one from the side of the green. Anyway,
40 seconds it went for.
If you wait too long, they will penalise you.
Yeah,
a stroke. Yeah. Golf has so many quirky...
You'd feel robbed, wouldn't you? I mean, you've hit it, it's gone in the hole.
But
You'd
you've been
think job
penalised.
done, but it wasn't quick enough.
That's where you need to feign an injury or something on the walk to it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Ping a hamstring.
Yeah.
Good on you, Rennie.
Thanks, boys.
Pick up one of your kids.
That's a good idea. 5AA News time.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
The shower 2 and 24 today with the 6:30 news. I'm Graham Goodings.
Injured or living with chronic pain? Book an appointment at Physio Extra today. 6 locations. physioextra.com.
Aviation firefighters have postponed industrial action until after the Easter long weekend. The United Firefighters Union has voted strongly in favour of future action if safe minimum staffing standards and fatigue management isn't brought in. 90% of members voted in favour of industrial action. Aviation Branch Secretary Wes Garrett says current understaffing is creating unsafe situations.
We take our job seriously and there is a risk to safety. If in the event of a major air disaster at any of the airports in Australia, we need to have properly equipped, properly staffed aviation, fire and rescue services ready to respond at a moment's notice.
Meantime, a Jetstar flight from Melbourne to Bali turned around mid-flight because of an unruly passenger will eventually make its journey later this morning. Flight JQ43 was halfway to its destination when the female passenger began swearing and yelling, claiming someone had stolen her phone. This passenger, Melanie, says it was a scary experience.
I was in the middle of the plane. She was at the back of the plane. The footage that I took was when she came forward. She was roaming around the cabin for most of the flight. I think she was only restrained towards the end after that incident, which I think was a bit concerning. Like, that footage was after we'd already decided to turn around to Melbourne, so I would have thought at that point she would have been restrained.
Some households and small businesses could soon pay less on their power bills. The energy regulator has released its default market offer, which sets baseline electricity prices across South Australia, New South Wales and South East Queensland. It's cutting retailer profit margins to bring bills down by as much as 10% from July. Taliban leaders in Afghanistan have accused Pakistan of carrying out airstrikes that have killed at least 8 people. As the BBC's Caroline Davis reports, they have come before Afghan and Pakistani border clashes.
According to the Afghan Taliban government spokesperson, the raids began around 3 a.m, hitting homes inside 2 provinces of Afghanistan, killing women and children. The spokesperson warned that this was a reckless action and that such incidents can have very bad consequences which will not be in Pakistan's control. Pakistan's authorities are yet to publicly comment, although the news agency AP has said that 2 intelligence and security officials had confirmed the country's involvement on condition of anonymity.
There are tributes today for Stormy Summers after her death at the age of 77. The controversial madam, with a brothel in the city for many years, made plenty of headlines over the years. Her relationships and acquaintances, multiple marriages, a campaign to become Lord Mayor, and a high-profile eviction among them. She also pushed for the legalisation of prostitution and sex workers' rights. Her final years were spent living in the northern suburbs, working on a documentary about her life. Vladimir Putin has addressed crowds in Moscow's Red Square a day after he claimed a landslide presidential victory. He told the crowd all occupied Ukrainian territories are now part of New Russia.
As for Novorossiya, Donbass, the people living there, in those days of the Russian spring, declared their desire to return to their native family. Their path back was much more difficult and tragic. But we did it.
Audio from the BBC. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Agostino Mitsubishi's Good to Go giveaway is on now. Receive a bonus $2,000 fuel card on 2023 Build Triton.
And here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Graham. Let's start with footy. The AFL's newest side will be known as the Tasmanian Devils. The club has been launched in Devonport, the side to wear green, yellow and red. A yellow map of Tasmania with a red T will feature on the front of the myrtle green jumper. The side is scheduled to play its first game in 2028, but a new stadium is no guarantee and could derail the side. Tasmania goes to an election on Saturday, Labor pledging to renegotiate the deal, but AFL Chief Executive Andrew Dillon says the roofed stadium remains a non-negotiable.
Absolutely, it was a vital part of the case that was put to the Commission for the licence, and the clubs then signed off on that, and it's really important for us that the club can be successful from day one.
Let's go to soccer. A-League star Josh Nisbet says it's a dream come true to be named in the Socceroos squad for upcoming World Cup qualifiers against Lebanon. They'll meet at Western Sydney Stadium on Thursday before heading to the nation's capital next Tuesday. He insists he's not just there to make up the numbers.
As an Australian, you always dream of playing for the Socceroos, and I haven't done that yet, but to be potentially given the opportunity, I'm looking forward to it. I'm definitely here to enjoy myself and have fun and meet with all the boys, but first priority is to try and get as many minutes as I can.
And Australia's fastest man, Rowan Browning, is a confirmed starter for the Sydney Track Classic on Saturday. He'll compete in the 100 metres, hoping to meet the 10-second qualifying time for the Paris Olympics. And that's the 5AA Sport.
And now the 5AA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automasters technician.
24 with a shower or two today. Tomorrow partly cloudy 21. Thursday sunny 24. Friday mostly sunny 24. Right now it's 18. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling businesses. Go on, touch base, search RWC Business Sales.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
23 minutes to 7. If you're in the business of sending letters, it's about to get more expensive. The price of stamps is going up. For standard letters, they'll jump from $1.20 to $1.50. The National Postie delivered a $200 million loss last financial year, triggering an overhaul from the government and the ACCC. Letters now need to be delivered every second day to cope with the demand of parcels. There was a trial of Saturday delivery that they've now done away with because they just said it wasn't as enthusiastically engaged with this as Australia Post were expecting. Australia Post, they've processed 100 million parcels within the 3 months to February, which is just a staggering amount of posts.
100 million.
100 million. Here's Gary Starr from Australia Post speaking on 9 News last night.
That 30 cents still doesn't get us anywhere near covering the cost of delivering letters, but it's taking us in the right direction. Letters are in an unstoppable decline, is the reality, but we've got the support we need. In the short term. We'll continue to work with government on that.
My understanding, though, is that if you've got a pension card, if you've got a seniors card, you're exempt.
That's exactly right. No change to the price increase.
Which is good, because the people who would be most affected by the cost of sending a letter are older people who still prefer it. And you think about these days, every power company, SA Water, whoever it is, they're all trying to get you weaned off letters and say, would you rather receive your bills electronically? Well, a lot of people are just in the habit through years of practice of, I can remember Dad, I think it was Thursdays, he'd call it bill night. He'd sit down with his letters, do all his, utilities and bank payments and everything, and it was all printed. And a lot of people have been doing that since the 1950s or 60s, still do it today. They use cheques, all the things now.
Yeah, they're on the way out.
That are regarded as a total pain by banks and financial institutions and companies. A lot of people still want to do it. So at least you are spared that impost. But crikey, it's a huge increase.
Of those $100 million parcels that have been delivered in the first, 2 months, first 8 weeks, because this is only to February, first 8 weeks of the year. Do you know the demo with the biggest increase in contribution to that?
I'd say older people.
It's baby boomers.
Yeah.
Baby boomers, increase of 7.2% in how much money they're spending on doing online shopping. And I think it's the fastest growing cohort, and it's the only growing cohort.
Have you suddenly got into online shopping? And I actually think the big driver of the conversation, thinking in our own family setting, is family dinners, family catch-ups, because I've had conversations with my mum. She loves these sort of Spanish terracotta tapas bowls for serving food. And she said to me a few weeks ago, I'd love to find the shop that sells them. And I said, Mum, it's called the internet. Just get on there. And she's going, I don't want to put my credit card in. I said, well, I would have made 30 to 40 orders over 15 years from Peters of Kensington, which is the big online kitchenware store in Sydney. It's wholly reputable. You submit your credit card, it sends you a code, you have to type the code in. It's bulletproof. And she said, all right, I'll give it a whirl. And now that she's done it, it's like, well, okay. I did one for her. I did one for her. But I think a lot of older people are at that tipping point where they're going, well, my kids do it.
They've not had any issues.
Yeah. So have you started doing online shopping?
Yeah, let us know.
8223
Or you can text us on the Dutton's text line, 04808 1395. We'll have a look at some texts in just a moment. Did you catch up with the Donald Trump bloodbath furor that has played out over the last 24 hours?
Yeah, I was watching something about it on Fox News last night and also on CNN, and it was a classic example of one event being reported in diametrically opposed fashion. I tend to believe Trump and his supporters when they say, listen, he's talking about
the automotive industry. 100%.
Is that your reading of it too?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is one of the most ridiculous stories of the last 24 hours. I actually think this damages the credibility of the media broadly. His comments were snipped up to suggest he was saying that in the event that he lost the election, there will be a bloodbath, and that'll be the least of it. When, if you listen to it in context, quite clear, and the reason this is important to listen to is not because it's Donald Trump or it's politics. It's because this is how easily things get manipulated. And I genuinely think it hurts everyone involved in the media industry when things get deliberately misrepresented. And I think that's exactly what's happened in this case. Have a listen to what he's talking about, and then imagine grabbing the last 5 or 6 seconds of this and suggesting or implying that the former US president was looking to invoke a civil war in the United States.
Mexico has taken over a period of 30 years 34% of the automobile manufacturing business in our country. Think of it. Went to Mexico. China now is building a couple of massive plants where they're going to build the cars in Mexico and they think that they're going to sell those cars into the United States with no tax at the border. Let me tell you something to China. If you're listening, President Xi, and you and I are friends, but he understands the way I deal, those big monster car manufacturing plants that you're building in Mexico right now, and you think you're going to get that, you're going to not hire Americans, and you're going to sell the cars to us. No, we're going to put a 100% tariff on every single car that comes across the line, and you're not going to be able to sell those cars. If I get elected, now if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath for the whole, that's going to be the least of it. It's going to be a bloodbath for the country. That'll be the least of it. But they're not going to sell those cars. They're building massive factories. A friend of mine...
So it's worth playing that whole grab in its full context because it shows the context in which the metaphor, bloodbath, is used, the entire build-up to it, and then the concluding remarks are wholly about the car industry. That clearly has been decimated in the US by free trade. You know, it all went south of the border, and now Mexico can't even compete with China. So now they're going to China because Mexican labour costs are too high, and the unions are too strong in Mexico. What the left-wing economists call the race to the bottom in globalisation. You know, you just keep looking for a cheaper place to do stuff. There's not one part of that refers to domestic politics.
No, not at all. And you know, the counterproductive thing for people that say Donald Trump's an absolute, he's a threat to democracy, is that now he gets to use that and say fake news. It's another because it is fake news.
And geez, didn't they all? You know, it was a sort of who's who of the left liberal media. Like Rolling Stone ran an editorial condemning him. But yeah, you're dead right, and it's a sickness in America. And this is where I think Trump clearly is part of the problem. You know, January 6th. His total and utter lies about the election result.
Yep.
Yet, this stuff by the left enables and emboldens Trump because clearly here, because their hatred for him is so sort of myopic, they can't get beyond it, that they will believe the worst of him even when there's no evidence to support it.
He's dragged the entire debate down to his level. I just don't think it's a way forward to fight lies with lies.
No.
Getting a few texts on that front. Getting a lot of texts on the question of online shopping. Baby boomers, the fastest growing cohort of online shoppers. Are you among them? Dave in South Brighton is on the line. Morning to you, Dave.
Morning, guys. Yes, I'm an online shopper, not for massive amounts of things, but what I definitely use it for, take advantage of the sales that, say, for example, Super Cheap Auto have a 20% off sale, and I can't get there on that particular day. I'll just do the click and collect, pick up my oils or parts or whatever I need. You know, there's that sort of stuff. Obviously, I buy a few joke clothes and T-shirts and stuff. Yeah, that sort of, yeah. But
were you a late convert to it, Dave? Did you come to it later in life?
Not really. I don't know what's later in life. I suppose I've probably been doing it for at least 5 years. So
I'd say that's late-ish. Because it's been around for 20-odd years. More than that.
Yeah, my wife is very much of the, if I can't touch it, feel it or see it, I don't really want to, buy it. So she's probably harder. She's been a lot later to come to any online stuff than myself.
Yeah.
But I'm sort of more of a thing, if I can get it in my size. Yeah. But, for example, motorbike boots. I wanted a pair of motorbike boots. Could not find them in any shop anywhere that I wanted here in Adelaide. Went to all of them because I thought, well, I want to try them on. But I couldn't get them, so I took the plunge and I actually bought them online, picked them up from a shop because they had the refund. If they didn't fit, you wouldn't have to pay for them. So that worked out well.
Well, that's good. Good stuff, Dave. Thank you. But there's others that are resisting. Jane on the Duttons text line says, I'm a boomer. I will never do online shopping. Bit of a mixed bag coming through.
It's good, as Dave said, there are some things where, if you can avoid going to the shops and you know that you've got a brand that is you're happy with, and, say it's like you're buying some polo shirts or something, and that men's XL from Marks fits you, speaking non-hypothetically here. Jump online once every couple of years and buy 3 of them. You're set.
Yeah, job done.
3 minutes. 3 minutes on your phone. Not even.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's catching on in demos now that it's historically been unpopular. 82230000 is our name. You can shoot it through a text on the Duttons text line as well, but we're going to check traffic for the first time this morning and come back with police and weather in just a moment. Keyser, if you're tired of back pain, try Keyser, KIESER.com.au.
Thanks, Will, and morning, David. Roads are looking really good for the run in today. You shouldn't have too many hassles or accident breakdown free. Do have some works to look out for. You'll find with Old Noongar, Victor Harbour Road near Main South Road. Also at Brooklyn Park, Sir Donald Bradford Drive near Marion Road, and slow for works at Pennington at the moment. Addison Road near Hodgman Road, speeds are reduced there. Cameras, Phillip Highway, Elizabeth South and Research Road at Paraka. Play for $1.3 billion in the USA Mega Lotto and get more zeros in your life. The world's biggest lotteries are at the Lottery Office. Play now at lotteryoffice.com.au. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Still thinking about a sea change? Think Oakford Homes in Counter Bay. New stage released and selling fast. A variety of block sizes available in a friendly community with brand new low maintenance homes plus the beach close by. Affordable packages, no surprises, move in now or invest for the future. Fixed price turnkey packages, flat land ready to build. Don't miss out. New stage now released. Visit our display village at Encounter Bay. Oakford Homes, a statement of quality. oakfordhomes.com.au.
Don't miss the legendary Gladys Knight for one last time as the Empress of Soul returns to Australia in 2024 for a final celebration of soul. Witness Gladys Knight perform all her greatest hits live on stage at Festival Theatre Adelaide on Thursday, March 21. Gladys Knight, the farewell tour. Tickets on sale now at Ticketek. Presented by MG Live, Frontier Touring and Arena Touring.
Here's the thing about instant gas hot water. It's not very instant. It can take up to 40 seconds for proper hot water to come out, wasting around 25,000 litres of water each year. So get off the gas and get onto EcoVantage. With an EcoVantage heat pump hot water system, you could save up to 50% on your water heating costs, not to mention all that water down the drain. So get off the gas and get onto EcoVantage. EcoVantage.com.au.
Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling businesses. Go on, touch base, search RWC Business Sales.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
10 to 7, cooler day on the way today. Simon Timke at the Weather Bureau has all the details for us. Morning to you, Simon.
Morning, Will. Morning, David.
Just take us through today and the rest of the week, because this is a rare beast at the moment. There's not a single 30 on the forecast.
Yeah, that's right. It certainly is a cooler week ahead, particularly today and tomorrow. There's a cold front just moving across the Bight at the moment, and quite a bit of cloud developing ahead of that. So that'll just moving across the Adelaide area now, so mostly cloudy day, and a front that's moving across there now will move across the Adelaide area a bit later this afternoon. We'll see the southwesterly winds freshen up a bit as that feature moves across. Maybe bring a shower or two as well with it, sort of from around mid to late afternoon, I think. Unlikely to see too much in the way of totals out. If we get 1 or 2 millimetres, I think we will have done pretty well. Temperature-wise, we've had a minimum temperature of 18.3 degrees in the city, and that's what we're sitting on right now, and expecting a maximum of 24 degrees in the city, around the suburbs, 24 degrees as well for Glenelg, Elizabeth and Noarlunga, 23 degrees for Mount Barker today. Even a little bit cooler for Wednesday. I think the showers will have cleared away, so Wednesday should be dry, but a bit of cloud around still. The wind's tending around more south to southeasterly and still pretty fresh and a bit gusty at times, particularly with some gully winds. Down to 13 degrees overnight, so quite a cool night, and just 21 degrees for Wednesday. And then a return to mostly sunny conditions later in the week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and even Monday, all likely to be mostly sunny. And the temperature's slowly increasing through that period as well. 24 degrees for Thursday, Friday, 25 for Saturday and Sunday, 28 degrees for next Monday, guys.
Geez, it's still sticking around this hot weather. 28 degrees next week.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good
All
stuff,
right.
Simon.
Let's head to SAPOL. Senior Constable Kate Dawson's on the line. Kate, police are investigating a break-in at Aberfoyle Park that took place this morning.
Yeah, this is about 5:15 this morning. Police were called to the Hub Drive in Aberfoyle Park after reports of alarms activating and someone trying to break into a bottle shop. So when patrols arrived at the bottle shop, they found a small hole had been smashed into glass front doors and bottles of whiskey had also been left by the entrance. So it appears the suspect may have been disturbed partway through the break-in, with thinking by a worker at a nearby business. So there have been a few bottles of alcohol stolen and the suspect left in a vehicle last seen heading north. Police searched the area, but we've not been able to locate the suspect at this time. So our crime scene investigators will be attending the scene this morning to gather any forensic evidence, but we're just asking anybody with any information to contact Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000.
Kate, also, a drink driver's been caught at Maslin's last night.
Yeah, this was about 10:20 p.m. last night. Southern District Patrol spotted a Mitsubishi Lancer idling in a car park off of Bowring Hill Road with the driver seated behind the wheel. So police spoke to the driver, who's a 34-year-old Morphett Vale man, and submitted him to a breath test. The man allegedly returning a positive reading of .139. Checks revealed the man's licence was also suspended, so he's been reported for drink driving and driving suspended and lost his licence, or the prospect of getting a licence, for a further 12 months. His car's been towed from the scene and impounded, and he'll be appearing at the Christie's Beach Magistrates Court at a later date.
Was he clad or unclad, Kate?
I think he was glad this time.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Thank you, Kate. Senior Constable Kate Dawson from SAPOL there. George in O'Sullivan Beach is on the line. George, have you taken to online shopping?
No, not really. Very rarely I'll buy something online. The wife and the daughter wanted some hoodies, so I transfer money from my bank account to what I call my internet card. That amount only, buy the stuff, and if anybody hacks the card or anything like that, there's no money on it for them.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, it's one safe way of doing it.
Yeah, it's a very smart move.
Good thinking.
Yeah, good on you, George.
I
Good
wonder
tip
if
for
the
people.
rise of online shopping has got anything to do with the subject of our next interview. I would imagine it will, in part, because it's been one of the changing parts of the Australian retail landscape, as it has been worldwide. And you think back to the history of bookshops in this city. Many years ago, Will, if we were sitting in this square, High Square, we could have walked over to where the cinema used to be. There was an absolutely superb bookshop called Liberty Books that was there, probably closed in the late 1970s. Well, sadly, unless they can find a new owner, Imprint's Bookshop, which has been an absolutely iconic Adelaide bookstore, up there with the likes of the aforementioned Liberty or Mary Martin that was there on Pirie Street for a long time. Jason Lake is the co-owner of Imprints in Hindley Street, and they've decided to sell up. Jason, good morning. Thanks for joining us. What's been the driver of this decision? Because I've got to say, I've been going to your bookstore, I reckon I first went there about 1987 or 8, round about then.
Yep.
It's been such an institution in Adelaide.
It has been. It's you know, we're very proud of the legacy of the bookshop. I've been working there for nearly 30 years now, and my business partner for 27, 28, and the time has just come. We've had some health issues over the last couple of years post-COVID, and it's just time for both of us to move on. We were talking about online shopping. Has that made it tougher for bookshops to survive? Yes. So when online shopping first happened, it had quite a negative impact on the ability of bookshops to do what they do. But it's also something that we, is part of the way that we do business. We have a very active website, so people can shop with us online as well as come through our door. And although, yes, the bookshop is on the market, but it is business as usual until we find a new owner, somebody that will be, passionate about books and willing to take the baton and run with it.
Jason, correct me if I'm wrong. Was it Greg Mackey who started it? Greg, who's been an Adelaide City Councillor, he's on the history. I think he heads up the History Trust.
Yeah, he wasn't the initial owner, but he came in quite early in the piece back in 1984 with his father and stepmother and another business partner, Patricia Sykes. Yeah, that was in 1984 they started.
Wow. One other thing that Imprints has done or tried to do is help change the perception of Hindley Street. Now, Hindley Street, it's been in the news a fair bit lately, again, for all the wrong reasons. Has that been a problem for you guys?
Look, it's been both a blessing and a curse. We have a wonderful landlord that in the Cambyses Group that has, been very generous to us and has allowed us to be there for this amount of time. We've been in this current place since 1999, when there was a bit of an arts-led recovery. That was a very positive change in Hindley Street, but unfortunately, since the early 2000s, it's kind of the daytime economy has deteriorated somewhat. But it's still, I think, an extremely well-positioned part of town. It's in its relationship to tertiary institutions and numerous international hotels in the neighbourhood.
Yeah,
it's in the CBD. It's as valid a place as any other street in the city.
My Saturday afternoon ritual, the entire 5 years I worked at the Central Market, I'd do my shift on a Saturday, knock off at 1, I'd have one beer with my colleagues at the Market Tavern, then I'd ride my bike down to Imprints and I'd buy a book. Bought a book every Saturday from Imprints for 5 years. And it's such a wonderful shop to be in. Although you probably weren't thrilled to see me after I'd done a 7-hour shift in a fruit shop.
Yeah, it's been a wonderful place to spend the majority of my working life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Got a lovely text here, Jason, that references you actually from someone who hasn't put their name into it, but they've said, "What a shame about Imprints. I refused online book shopping. We'll just call Jason and ask him to get something in." So there was a very happy customer that's a little bit sadder today, Jason. Good on you, mate.
Yeah, well, we're all a little sad. Change it always has, it can have a negative impact. But as I said before, it's business as usual until the keys change hands.
Well, good luck for the future, Jason, and thanks for making Adelaide a better read, better educated, and happier place. It's a great business.
Thank you very much. Just keep buying books from us.
We will. Good on you, Jason. Jason Lake there, the co-owner of Imprints in Hindley Street.
Minute to 7, 5AA News Time. Our wrap of the morning stories next.
The cost of living keeps rising. Thankfully, so does the sun. That's why more Aussies are getting smart with SolarHeart. Go solar today and get up to $1,000 off a SolarHeart solar power system and battery package. That's right, get up to $1,000 off when you purchase a 5 kilowatt and above SolarHeart solar power system and an eligible Goodwee battery. Lower your energy bills with every sunrise. Get smart. Get SolarHeart. Terms and conditions apply.
In tough times, it's the simple things that make a big difference. Like $19 schnitzel days at the Birkenhead Tavern, Excelsior and the Lighthouse Wharf. We know the humble schnitty can't fix all our problems, but we do know it'll put a smile on your dial. $19 schnitty, Mondays, Tuesdays and Wednesdays at the Birkenhead Tavern, Excelsior and the Lighthouse Wharf. Making the world a better place, one schnitty at a time. Got to start somewhere. You just know it's a Barreau Hotel.
Hi, I'm Jo. I'm a registered nurse and I work with St Louis Home Care as a clinical care coordinator.
St Louis was started by my great-grandmother and is one big happy family with lovely staff just like Jo.
The people that work for St Louis are very loving and caring.
Whether it's personal care, preparing meals, shopping, home maintenance or social activities, we help people stay at home for longer.
If you're interested, come and join us.
Google St. Louis Home Care today.
Up-to-the-minute news for South Australia. This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
The shower at 2 and 24 today with the 7 o'clock news. Good morning, I'm Graham Goodings.
Physio, Pilates, hydro, massage, podiatry and exercise classes. Physio Extra's Holistic Care. PhysioExtra.com.
Ratepayers in the city are facing a major rate hike as the council looks to fill a $110 million capital works black hole. The council is considering a rate rise of up to 7.4% and raising fees and charges to pay for the proposed maintenance projects. Council documents reveal forecast borrowings to increase by $25 million to $72 million in the next budget. There could be some power bill relief in sight for some households and small businesses, with the energy regulator setting new baseline prices. Federal Politics reporter Zach De Silva.
Electricity bills could drop by as much as 10% from July under the energy regulator's annual default market offer. The offer sets a cap on power prices for New South Wales, South East Queensland and South Australia, but most consumers will pay even less if they shop around. The regulator will force retailers to cut back on their profits, meaning most households will see bills fall by between 0.5% and 7%. The reductions are even greater for small businesses. This is still a draft decision. The final plan will be released in May.
The supply of new homes across our capitals is expected to sink to its lowest level in a decade by 2026. Gabriel Hodson has more.
Across Australia's capitals, 79,000 new homes are due to be finished in 2026. That's a drop of 26% on last year, with planning bottlenecks and labour shortages being blamed. The Financial Review reports there are other roadblocks to housing, including a large backlog of properties that have been approved but not built, the cost of construction, and builders tied up with other major construction projects. Economists say to reach the government's goal of 1.2 million homes by 2029, the bulk would have to be apartments, which need a much longer time frame for planning and construction.
Alcohol has been stolen from a bottle shop at Aberfoyle Park. Senior Constable Kate Dawson says patrols were called to Hub Drive just after 5 this morning.
They found a small hole had been smashed into the glass front doors and bottles of whiskey had also been left by the entrance. So it appears the suspect may have been disturbed partway through the break-in, with thinking by a worker at a nearby business. So there have been a few bottles of alcohol stolen and the suspect left in a vehicle last seen heading north. Police searched the area but we've not been able to locate the suspect.
Rail services on the Outer Harbour Line will be restricted this week as work progresses on the $51 million Port Dock Rail Line project. Buses will replace trains between Woodville Station and Outer Harbour Station at certain times. Stormy Summers is being remembered as one of Adelaide's most colourful characters. Mel Usher reports.
Stormy Summers, the controversial madam with a brothel in the city for many years, has died at the age of 77. She succumbed to a short illness in hospital on Sunday night. Stormy lived life to the fullest. There were multiple marriages, a run for Lord Mayor, and her campaigning for sex workers' rights. She emigrated from Holland as a toddler, ended up becoming a stripper in Sydney, and even performed for troops overseas with Bob Hope in the 1960s. A documentary about her life is in the works. She was involved in the project over the past year.
Donald Trump has been unable to come up with a $454 million bond in a civil fraud judgment. He was found guilty of inflating the value of his real estate holdings to secure loans. The court has signalled it will begin seizing his assets if he's unable to come up with the amount. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Agostino Mitsubishi's Good to Go giveaway is on now. Receive a bonus $1,000 fuel card on 2023 Build Outlander.
And here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Graham. Tasmania's new site has been launched and, as expected, it's with the name The Devils. The Guernsey and logo were also revealed at several functions across the state last night. Well, this evening looms as a big one for veteran Taylor Walker as he tries to prove he's fully recovered from a back injury. The former skipper missed last week's clash against Gold Coast, with the club hoping he'll be okay to tackle the Cats. And Bulldogs midfielder James Harmes has been hit with a one-game ban, while Hawthorn captain James Sicily will head to the tribunal tonight to challenge his one-game suspension. Well, Perth has reportedly held on to its hosting rights for the first cricket test for next summer's 5-test series against India. The Herald reports Sydney will host the New Year's test despite calls for it to be rescheduled in recent years. Adelaide is expected to host a test match just before Christmas against the Indian side. Aussie Daniel Ricciardo says he can't wait to get into his car and perform well this weekend at the Melbourne Grand Prix.
It's been a little bit of a steady, I would say slower start to the year, but it's only been 2 races, so yeah, hopefully the season starts on the right foot now in Melbourne, and that'll be like the first one to get going.
Practice for the race at Albert Park begins in a couple of days. And a second EPL club has been docked points for breaching spending rules. Nottingham Forest now in the relegation zone thanks to a 4-point deduction. It's left Everton fans furious given they were docked more points for a less severe breach. And that's the 5AA Sport.
And now checking 5AA traffic.
Lynn Andrews Real Estate, experts in commercial and residential property management. lynnandrews.com.au.
G'day there, she is A-OK for the run into work today. Accident breakdown free, just busy in a couple of spots, but no great dramas. Port River Expressway, Port Adelaide busy. Main North Road at Enfield starting to build, and a little bit slow at the moment. Anzac Highway at Ashford heading into the city. You find works at Pennington, Addison Road near Hodgman Road, with cameras, Gwyn Street, Firle, and Blue Streets at Ingle Farm. Quick and easy dinner, pork chop it. Find easy recipes like tray-baked honey and soy pork chops at pork.com.au and get some pork on your fork. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automasters technician.
A shower 2 and 24 today. Tomorrow partly cloudy 21. Thursday sunny 24. Friday also 24, mostly sunny. Right now it's 18. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Afternoon Aldi shoppers. This is a message for Kate Hassler in aisle 3. Hey, we know you see other supermarkets.
What? You do?
Yeah, it's cool. Really. Go get that smoked herring paste next door.
You're just saying that.
Nah, I mean it. But you'll save more if you shop at Aldi first.
You'll always be my first shop.
We love you.
What about me?
We love you too, Pete. Aldi. Good. Different.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
Setting the agenda for South Australia. This is 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling.
Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
8 after 7, good morning to you and welcome to Tuesday if you're joining us for the very first time. Much cooler today ahead of a string of sub-30 degree temperatures over the next week. So if you've been hanging out for some relief, it has officially arrived. Top of 24 expected today. Relief too for people that were planning trips interstate or indeed overseas over the Easter long weekend. If you went to bed last night having watched the TV news concerned that there might be strike action that disrupts flights, well, we got some very good news this morning. Aviation firefighters that threatened to strike on account of dangerous work conditions, they say, that have been brought about by a labour shortage. They voted to strike, but not on the Easter long weekend. Here's Wes Garrett.
It's entirely possible that that any time after the Easter long weekend that we'll announce some actions. We've had over 800 members that have responded and a response rate of 93%. And that sends a very strong message about the sentiment of our members and their concern over the situation that we have with air services at the moment.
So the initial part is relief that there won't be disruption to flights over Easter, Good Friday being the Adelaide Airport's one of the busiest days of the year. Airport firefighters are employed by Air Services Australia. They're saying because of a lack of staff, they're having to work too long hours, they're fatigued, it's dangerous, and right now there's a lack of coverage if there was an incident at an airport around Australia. That's the crux of the labour dispute here. The threat was, hey, we're going to have to do this at a time that makes the loudest noise, and we're going to do Easter weekend. So overnight, they put it to a vote, and they said yes to the strike, no to Easter long weekend.
It's not often you get excited by a news story where the headline could be "Nothing happened," but that's a good one.
Yeah, it's a great one. Yeah,
you know, that was the headline. That was the intro to the news piece. I can't remember who wrote it. Can't remember the journo. But when the that crazy soothsayer predicted that Adelaide was going to be hit by a tidal
Oh,
wave.
yeah, Don Dunstan.
When Dunstan went down, stood there on the foreshore like King Canute holding him at the tide. The intro to the piece the following day in the Advertiser was "Nothing happened." Great intro.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Could well be the intro for a story that covers what the RBA does today. Now, you might be used to still, like it has been...
Nothing happened corner.
Nothing happened corner. Whereby they used to meet at first Tuesday of the month. Of course, this is the first year of a whole new structure. RBA meets over the course of 2 days. They make their determination on the second day, which is today. So it is the 19th of March. They are meeting. The expectation from everyone is there will be no change. Inflation sits currently about 4.1%, so it's still above the 2 to 3% target band. It is coming down, though. That's the good news. The question for the RBA is, well, what do we do with regards to the tax cuts that are coming in, any other incentives in the May budget, things like cost of living relief? It feels as though they're going to wait to see how that all plays out and flushes through the system before they start making any noises about rate cuts. Now, they might say something different a little bit later today, but that's the sense that most people are getting on this morning. Have a listen to Sally Tyndall from Rate City, who spoke to Sunrise a short time ago.
Most certainly a hold. In fact, I'd say 100% certain it's going to be a hold. You look at the data, unemployment, it's above the 4% barrier. It's sitting at 4.1%. No cause to hit the panic button, but really that's enough to ward off another hike in itself. Retail sales has been sluggish, and then, of course, you've got inflation. The monthly ABS data shows that it's now firmly in the threes. That's such a long way from the 7s and 8s that were recorded at the end of December 2022. So that's fantastic progress. What it shows is that the cash rate of 4.35% is doing its job.
So another wait and see for the Reserve Bank today. The most interest will be what comments does Michelle Bullock make in the press conference afterwards about how she feels about the second half of this year and maybe the early part of next year, when the expectation is that cuts will start flowing through the system.
Koshy said the other day when we spoke to him, he thinks later this year there could be some
he
relief.
does. Yeah, that's sort of the conservative view. Some people are saying they should be sooner than that. Others are saying later or maybe even another rise. But it sounds like at very least today they'll be put on hold again. Breaking news out of the UK, this one of the more peculiar stories because it's sort of gained this weird online life of its own. Kate Middleton has now been spotted out and about and alive. And I say that last part because it's almost been treated like proof of life. The Sun newspaper online with the headline, exclusive, smiles better. Happy and relaxed Princess Kate seen on video for the first time since surgery, beaming on a shopping trip with William. They look like the most normal people in the world.
Have they got video, have they?
They've got video of her walking along, out in the open, not behind it, not in a car, not anywhere else.
I find this story so repellent. This endless discussion about that damn photograph. And, you know, the media is its own worst enemy at times. All those press agencies banding together and going, that's it, we're not running this photograph. I mean, of all the industries to lecture people about manipulation of pictures, like so much of tabloid journalism is based around, you know, holding people up to ridicule. And, you know, you'll see a disclaimer, photo digitally altered. But, you know, this is like self-criticism. I've done that myself over the years, you know, when you've been doing a piece, having a crack at a politician or demanding a better deal for your readers. It's quite a valid journalistic technique. But for a woman who's clearly physically unwell, and forget that they're the royal family, at the end of the day, they're a family. She's a mum. You know, she's got kids, young kids to bring up. They're wholly in the public eye. I reckon the number of column inches that's been written about this, and even the people who are ostensibly and quite disingenuously, given their form, papers that are running headlines, leave them alone. Well, if you want to leave them alone, don't splash on it. Don't put it on page one. Just shut up about it.
But isn't this...
Don't you think it's just so screwed up?
Yeah, but isn't this the classic story where everyone goes, this is horrible, but I've read every word of it?
Well,
isn't that the problem?
Correct. I mean, you know, for every little old lady who, you know, at the time said the paparazzi have got blood on their hands with the death of Diana, had in the spare room every single Woman's Day new idea with every pap photograph ever taken of Princess Diana. So it is, I mean, you know, I don't want to rope I don't want to turn this from an attack on the media and I want to attack on the punters. But yeah, everyone's complicit here. It's screwed up, isn't it?
Yeah, yes, it is. It's an ugly part of human nature, I think. You were in lockstep with Rafe Heidel from GB News in the UK, who made an impassioned plea for people to leave the Princess of Wales alone.
Leave the Princess of Wales alone, please. That is the message we're getting from the great British public. It's the way I personally feel. It's the emails that I'm getting. It's the vox pops that I've seen and the comments that I've seen on social media. I mean, we should be reassured, of course, that Her Royal Highness has been seen around in the Windsor Farm shop. As you've said, no photographs, unfortunately, which won't do much to stop some of the more outlandish conspiracy theories. But I think most people will be heartened to know that Her Royal Highness is continuing to recover well and will be seen after Easter. And we should say, when we say after Easter, we're not talking about the Easter weekend, we're talking about the Easter school holidays. So around April the 17th.
I think she's unequivocally the most popular royal globally. The video that we've put up on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream from The Sun, the best thing you can say about it is she's okay. Yeah. She looks well. She looks like she's getting about and having a good time. And that is a good news story.
I wonder if they deliberately put that video out, the royals.
I have no doubt they would have tipped someone off.
Yeah. You don't just accidentally
to say,
take clean images like that end up getting watermarked by The Sun. Like, that's...
Yeah. Which is, again, sad that they have to do that, but...
Well, it's like you see all those stories in the gossip columns of, here's Michael Clark and whatever his better half is called. Here they are together in Byron Bay. I was like, okay, how did anyone find out about that?
Paparazzi just sitting in a bush, waiting. No, not quite. It's not really how it works.
Well, I mean, in the celebrity space, not the royals, but some celebrities get paid on the quiet by the photographer. Like it's a quid pro quo type thing.
Janet has called in. Good morning to you, Janet.
Oh, yes, good morning. You mentioned Don Dunstan standing down at the beach when there was supposed to be a tidal wave. I remember that vividly. We lived at Maiponga at the time, and my mum was down staying with us from Cooper Pedy, and she was absolutely paranoid that there was going to be a wave come from Sellex Beach and come over to the hill and flood us out. And we were trying to calm her down, saying, it's not going to happen, don't worry. And my husband came out the bathroom on his way to bed and said, good night, Dot, I'm off to bed now. And he was wearing a life jacket and a pair of flippers.
I've got to say, Jeanette, which end of Sellex did she live at? Because I would have thought Sellex would have been one of the best beaches in South Australia to avoid a wave if you're up the top.
I know, but when you're at Maiponga, it's not that far to come over the hill.
Well, that's true.
She was certain it was going to happen. But, yeah, he had a pair of flippers and a life jacket on his way to bed.
I wonder if any of our listeners sold their houses.
Oh, no. I know that wasn't there something to do with the High Marsh Building Society too? Everybody took their money
That's
out
right.
because that was going to crash.
That's right. What a crazy
and
time.
that didn't happen either. Okay, thanks, guys.
Good on you, Jeanette. Great call. Thanks to Robert, too. He texted in saying it was John Nash who predicted the tidal wave. That was his name. John Nash, the clairvoyant who saw the tidal wave coming.
Wasn't John Nash the name of the famous mathematician? I can't say the word. That won a Nobel Prize? John Nash. But don't know. Yeah, John Nash. He won a Nobel Prize. It's not the same person. He was portrayed by a
reasonably common name.
Yeah, it would be. He was portrayed by Russell Crowe in A Beautiful Mind.
Oh, okay.
But yeah. Totally different people.
Not familiar with...
I was going to say, that would lend some credence to the prediction that I wasn't previously aware of if it was made by a Nobel Peace Prize winner.
Yeah.
For science. But no, different people.
Yes. Thanks to Scott from Seaford for the text about the council concerns down there. Sorry, Simon, sorry. I was scrolling back, Simon. I read another one by Scott. And thanks for your text yesterday. Watch this space on that front.
Okay. Let's check traffic. Thanks to Keezer. If you're tired of back pain, try Keezer, KIESER.com.au.
Thanks, Will. Crash to look out for this morning at Prospect, Main North Road near Dutton Terrace. Works at Brooklyn Park, Sir Donald Bradford Drive near Mowring Road. And we are slow at the moment for works at Old Noarlunga, those roadworks there. Victor Harbour Road near Main South Road. Currently got speeds at 40. A little bit sluggish too, Port River Expressway at Port Adelaide with the camera Kelly Road at Modbury. Fill up with Shell V-Power 98, the premium fuel designed to deliver greater efficiency and improve performance. It's a decision you can feel good about. Details online. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
5AA Mornings with Matthew Pantelis.
The City of Marion is planning to demolish this long-standing club. It has a 90-year history for commercial use. Chris Hanna, Mayor of Marion. This isn't a multinational tennis club. It's a tennis club of local people living in your area, paying your salary. You've treated them appallingly, haven't you?
Matthew Pantelis.
The overarching principle is to maximise council land.
Weekday mornings from 9 on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Emergencies don't recognise business hours. They can happen at any time and need professional attention in no time. With Adelaide's only 24-hour private emergency department, Calvary Adelaide provides expert treatment at any hour on any day. You'll experience shorter wait times before receiving personalised care from experienced professionals. For emergency care 24/7, trust South Australia's newest state-of-the-art hospital, Calvary Adelaide. 120 Angus Street, Adelaide.
It's a frightening thought, but what if you lost the capacity to manage your financial affairs? If you're not at the helm, who makes medical or health decisions? Who controls the family trust? From the simplest to the most complex wills and estate plans, Donlan Lawyers will answer your questions and help carry out your wishes. For wills and estate planning, visit donlanlawyers.com. That's donlanlawyers.com. Hindmarsh Square, Adelaide, and Ocean Street, Victor Harbour.
Now let's see what's in the swear jar at Buy Urban Bathrooms and Kitchens. Oh, wrong swear jar. This is it. From Martin the Tiler, affectionately known as Millimetre Martin. He swears you'll love his millimetre perfect craftsmanship. And here's one from Rick the Plumber. Rick swears to always clean up after himself, guaranteed. For a team that swears to deliver on quality and service, see Buy Urban Bathrooms and Kitchens, Adelaide's home renovation experts.
How awesome! Mawson Lakes Volkswagen has plenty of Tiguans and Amaroks in stock. Tiguan Allspace is a 7-seater with plenty of room and plenty of smarts, featuring auto park, adaptive cruise control and lane assist. And the latest generation Amarok has a big 1-ton payload and 3.5-ton towing capacity. But inside, you'll get all the comforts of a luxury vehicle. There's plenty of stock that must go. Hurry in for a deal. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen, Salisbury Highway, just a short drive from the city.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling businesses. Go on, touch base, search RWC Business Sales.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
23 minutes after 7, we've got Lee Kernaghan tickets to give away. With a twist, though, the Boys from the Bush tour is coming to the Music Hall Friday 19th of April on Hindley Street. You can get tickets at Ticketmaster, or listen out for when we play a little clip of Lee Kernaghan. The Boys from the Bush tour, Friday 19th of April at Hindley Street Music Hall. The other thing that you get, potentially, is a chance to win a meet and greet with Lee and his signed guitar. So it's a pretty good prize. At worst, you're getting along. At best, you get to meet Lee Kernaghan and win a signed guitar. All you need to do is be the first caller through on 8223 0055 when you hear us play a little bit of Lee Kernaghan music between now and the end of the program.
Text here from Terry, our good mate Terry, regarding my defence of Kate Middleton. He says, good grief, you should remember that when you're sticking the boots into Harry and Meghan. Thanks for that, Terry.
But the distinction is paying for a Netflix documentary that's a tell-all about your life, the going shopping after having surgery. I just feel they're different things.
That's right. Whatever you say about Kate Middleton, she's not on the World Privacy Tour. The one here from Adam, putting 2 and 2 together. Memory tells me that John Nash left South Australia and then went to Queensland, where the floods since occurred.
Interesting. Intriguing.
Yeah,
Do you reckon you got one right, maybe?
Well, I suppose you keep making predictions like that, you're bound to get one right eventually.
All right, let's talk sport. $19 Schnitty Monday to Wednesday at the Birkenhead Tavern, Excelsior and Lighthouse Wharf. You just know it's a Barrow hotel. Last night, Monday, is Cornsey night on the sports show, and he had his say on the Crows' paltry three and a half quarters on Saturday night.
I'm trying to be glass half full on that loss.
Yeah, well, I mean, you learn lessons from your losses. You learn a lot more from your losses than you do from your triumphs. There's no doubt about that. And it is only round one, so we don't make too many conclusions. But there was a psychological battle going on, and I bet the Crows players didn't even know it.
What was it?
Well, all summer they've been saying how they're going to improve, they're going to do this. It's almost a given that they're going to make the 8. So there's a nice warm feeling of complacency seeps out. It might be subconscious. You're playing an opponent who's got a new coach. They've got a lot of young talent. They've had a game under their belt, so they are up for this contest. The Crows were just swept off the park. There was no, they just weren't in it for the
first half was awful.
Well, it's all about the start, isn't it? You can't give a team 6 or 7 goals start. You know, people say, well, we got back into the game, we only lost by 6 points, but it is a game of psychology, and it was a failure.
We said it during the call. I mean, the reality is if you want to be a top 8 side, you need to go and play good teams and beat them at their place. And Gold Coast aspire to be a good team. They might well be one this year. There's only 2 games difference between Adelaide and Gold Coast. And it bears remembering their aspiration is to be a top 8 side this year as well. But last year they weren't. And going up there and playing like that for the majority of the game was beyond disappointing. In fact, so much so, it may feature in the jury coming up in the next half hour on the program. Because they've copped a pizzling at the Adelaide Football Club.
Well, there's a long roll call of people who are lining up to give them a whack. And, you know, I think Cornsy's point is a valid one. You know, and this is where footballers always say, no, we just try to...
1 week at a time.
Yeah, we just block all of that out. I don't think you can. You know, human beings being what they are. I mean, there's a reason why most spam mail you get has tricky little things saying, oh, you're not going to believe what somebody's saying about you, you know, or hey, here's that picture of you that you wanted. You know, things that are designed to make you click because it's about you. So if you're a footballer or a coach or an assistant coach, of course you pay attention to it. And I think that Cornsy's dead right, that they sort of, you know, the expectation becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy before you've actually done anything.
And you know what the most easily predictable thing that happens in the world of sport punditry is the transition that young, fun teams go through when they don't, when development doesn't turn out to be linear. Because the new fun thing is great and beloved by everyone. How good can they be? They could go all the way. Most talented list I've ever seen. Whatever it might well be in whatever sport you follow. And then inevitably, it turns. It turns at the first sight of trouble. Overrated, got ahead of themselves consistently. I didn't know we'd get there in round 1, but I think it's also a trend in the way teams get talked about in sport more broadly. You go from being the hottest property in the sport to yesterday's news really quickly.
Well, yeah, I mean, the other thing is there's now a proliferation of everyone. You know, there's some news show on Channel 9 I noticed the other day on Sunday nights with that bloke who got punted in disgrace, deservedly so, from Foxtel. He's risen phoenix-like from the ashes and he's on Channel 9. He's going to be doing some sort of, this is my volcano type.
Oh, okay.
You know, these guys making thundering statements about footy.
Hot takes.
Hot takes. A lot of hot takes now.
Yeah.
So there's more spots to be...
lot more
crucified in.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Never mind that the hot takes are often diametrically opposite 1 week later.
Doesn't matter.
Sports journalism is the only one that comes with a rewind button. You can make all sorts of predictions and a week later...
Well, and economics journalism too.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Yeah, you can say whatever the hell you want.
That's right.
29 after 7, 5AA News is coming up. We'll be back in a moment.
You deserve your life-changing moment. You deserve life-changing care. You've only got 8 days to buy your tickets in the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery. You could win the fully furnished $3.6 million Scott Salisbury Grand Prize at Henley Beach. Plus, your tickets stay in more than 12,000 draws, giving you a 1 in 15 chance to win. Hurry! Deadline March 27. Life-changing prizes, life-changing impact. homelottery.com.au. Licence M14493.
Now in Australia, around 2,300 kids are living with childhood dementia, and it takes 91 lives every year.
Yeah, that's right. And if you hear that and you think, well, what can you do to help? Well, thankfully, 2 local legends are teaming up to make a difference and giving you the opportunity to join them.
Now, we spoke to Bone, Chris McDermott, about this only a couple of months ago. South Australian charity Little Heroes Foundation, they're dedicated to finding treatments for and eventually curing childhood dementia. And South Australian salad producer, I love these salads, High Fresh Salads, is committed to doing its part.
Purchase any High Fresh Salads pre-packaged salad featuring the Little Heroes logo, and part proceeds will go toward the fight to end childhood dementia while providing support for families in need.
You can find High Fresh Salads pre-packaged salads at your local independent supermarket and greengrocer.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
The shower at 2:24 today with the 7:30 news. I'm Graham Goodings.
Injured or living with chronic pain? Book an appointment at Physio Extra today. 6 locations. PhysioExtra.com.
Housing supply is expected to dip to its lowest level by 2026, leaving the nation short of its goal to build 1.2 million homes by 2029. Analysis by the Urban Development Institute shows just 79,000 new homes will be finished in the year, down 26% compared to last year. Cheaper childcare could unleash a huge new workforce of Australian parents. Gabriel Hodson says the pressure is on the federal government to make childcare affordable for families.
One economist saying it's as important to the Australian economy as free government schools and Medicare. The Productivity Commission has found a fully subsidised system for low-income families would free up so many parents and carers it would add the equivalent of 207,000 full-time workers to the economy. That's almost the entire population of Hobart. But it would come at a cost. SMH The Age reports that ditching the work and study requirements for parents and covering the hourly cap would set the budget back by $2.5 billion a year. The Commission also wants a complex subsidy ditched in favour of something simpler, such as a Canadian system where parents pay a flat $10 a day.
Aviation firefighters have postponed industrial action until after the Easter long weekend. The United Firefighters Union has voted strongly in favour of future action if safe minimum staffing standards and fatigue management isn't brought in. 90% of members voted in favour of industrial action. Aviation Branch Secretary Wes Garrett says current understaffing is creating unsafe situations.
We take our job seriously and there is a risk to safety. If in the event of a major air disaster at any of the airports in Australia, we need to have properly equipped, properly staffed aviation fire and rescue services ready to respond at a moment's notice.
A drink driver's been caught at Maslin Beach. Senior Constable Kate Dawson says his Mitsubishi Lancer was spotted idling in a car park on Barring Hill Road late last night.
Police spoke to the driver, who's a 34-year-old Morphevale man, and submitted him to a breath test. The man allegedly returning a positive reading of .139. Checks revealed the man's licence was also suspended, so he's been reported for drink driving and driving suspended and lost his licence, or the prospect of getting a licence, for a further 12 months.
A lab leak has been identified as a likely cause of COVID-19. The Kirby Institute at the University of New South Wales has found the virus has a 68% chance of coming from an unnatural source, but scientists concede it is probable we will never know the true origins of the pandemic. A United Nations-backed report says famine is expected between now and May in the north of the Gaza Strip. More than 1 million people are said to be at risk. And the first video has emerged of the Princess of Wales in public after undergoing abdominal surgery. TMZ published the footage of Prince William and his wife Catherine at a farm shop in Windsor. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Agostino Mitsubishi's Good to Go giveaway is on now. Receive a bonus $2,000 fuel card on 2023 Build Triton.
And good morning, Tom Wren.
Yeah, and a very good morning to you as well, Graham. Well, it's all sorted now, and now that the colours, nickname and jumper are sorted, the AFL's 19th side has its eyes on Saturday's Tasmanian election. The AFL has maintained if a roofed stadium isn't built, the team won't go ahead, but Labor has pledged to renegotiate the deal. Tasmanian Devils chairman Grant O'Brien telling Wide World of Sports they'll work with whoever's elected on Saturday.
What does renegotiation mean? And that's the question that she'll, if she's given the opportunity, would need to work with the AFL on and obviously us. But no, I'm not concerned. We build the sort of membership base that we've got on offer here.
Let's stick with footy. Adelaide defender Mitch Hinge has promised a much better performance from the Crows when they host Geelong on Friday night. They'll be desperate to bounce back following a disappointing first-up 6-point loss against Gold Coast. Hinge telling Rowie and Timmy G they're well aware they need to respond.
Yeah, we're not taking this loss lightly, and we're bitterly disappointed in how we, came out to start the season. I think we're looking to learn the things we learnt from the weekend and looking to play our best footy as well.
It will be Aussie Oscar Piastri's time to shine for this weekend's Australian Formula One Grand Prix. The 22-year-old from Melbourne came a modest 8th during his first appearance at his home race last year. After finishing 4th in Saudi Arabia, the Aussie is currently in 5th place in the overall Drivers' Championship. Practice gets underway on Thursday. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Lynn Andrews Real Estate, experts in commercial and residential property management. lynnandrews.com.au.
G'day there, got a crash at Prospect to look out for. Main North Road near Dutton Terrace causing a few delays. Works at Dry Creek to look out for. North-South motorway near the Bolivar intersection and slow for works at St Mary's today. South Road near Princess Parade. Got road plates in use there, speeds at 40. Cameras at Gwyn Street, Firle and North East Road at Modbury. It's a new Easter tradition, hot cross muffins and muffin break. Pair it with a spiced ice mocha for the perfect Easter break. Hurry, limited time only at Muffin Break. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
And now the 5AA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automasters technician.
A shower or two, 24 today. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, 21. Thursday, sunny, 24. Friday, also 24, mostly sunny. Right now, it's 18. More news as it happens on 5AA.
It's Edward here from Edwardstown Mazda.
Thanks, Edward. I've got this. And it's big news.
How big?
Really big. Edwardstown Mazda have extended their sale with huge Mazda factory bonuses across a wide range of Mazdas. Plus, get a $2,000 trade-in bonus on top of your trade-in price. Only available at Edwardstown Mazda.
Wow.
I know, right? Wow.
Plays a jingle sing.
It's gotta be Edwardstown Mazda. T's and C's apply.
G'day everyone, Cornsey here. Now I know a great team when I see one, and the South Australian hydraulic team I rate the highest is BL Shipway. The Shipway team are the best in the business. They've been looking after your hydraulic and pneumatic needs since 1953 with brands like Ryco, Rexroth, Enerpac, Hydac, Oilpath, EasyFit and many more. If you can't get to them, they'll send a Ryco 24/7 van to you anytime, anywhere. blshipway.com.au, a South Australian team you can count on.
Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling businesses. Go on, touch base, search RWC Business Sales.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
"22 minutes to 8. We've got a 5AA breakfast jury coming up this half hour on the program. Then after 8 o'clock today, Jess Adamson's going to join us to talk about the passing of one of the most colourful identities in Adelaide history, Stormy Summers. That's coming up after 8 o'clock today. Big breaking at 8 as well. Big breaking at 8 today. Might be of interest to our next guest when it ultimately all comes out.
Very much so. And the person who's sitting on the exclusive, Graham Corns.
Yeah.
Who we just heard from before. We cross now to Canberra to catch up with our good mate Phil Curry, the national political editor of the Fin Review. How you going there, Phil?
Good, guys. What's the exclusive?
Well, you got to wait half an hour, 20 minutes.
Sounds like a footy yarn.
Yeah.
All right.
It doesn't involve Carlton, mate.
No, it's not a footy yarn.
Stat about old Stormy.
Yeah. Did you ever meet her?
Yeah, a few times. I remember once her and a whole bunch of her girls joined the Liberal Party to try and help, I think it was Mark Brindle, keep pre-selection in Unley. So
that's right.
Remember that? It was a great story. So we had quite a bit, because at the time Brindle was trying to legalise prostitution. So
that's right.
Signed up half the working girls in Adelaide. It was a great story. But no, she was always good to deal with. I liked her. She was a character.
We had a lot of characters back then. Remember old Joy Baluch as well?
Oh, goodness me. The first lady of the Iron Triangle.
Yeah, that's right. Got a bridge named after her.
Yeah, she was hilarious too.
Hey, Phil, speaking of colourful local personalities, what do you make of the Anne Ruston Alex Antic story?
Oh, it was a disaster. I mean, it's been coming. I mean, this has been... This is about the order of the Senate ticket in South Australia, 1, 2 and 3. Look, in any there should never have been a question about it. Anne Ruston, as the senior Liberal on that ticket, as a member of the shadow cabinet, as a leader in the Senate, compared to a backbencher no one's heard of, should have been on the top of that ticket, absolutely, and more so, being a woman and all. You've got at one stage the right, if you like, the right wing of the Liberal Party and stuff. They weren't even they were going to put her in a losing spot, like 3 or worse, and they had to be talked into just giving a spot. At least she'll win. But it's a terrible look, and everyone's really angry about it over here, as you can imagine. And Peter Dutton's not too happy, but at least they managed to save Anne. But this is what happens when sort of stupidity and self-interest overrides the big picture. You might remember years ago there was as before the 2013 election, I think, Don Farrell, who was then like just a faceless man and a backbencher, put himself ahead of Penny Wong on the Labor ticket in South Australia, and someone leaked that to me, and in about 5 minutes it got reversed because even Don had the good sense to see that was not the right look, even though he had the factional ascendancy over Penny at the time, and he actually missed his spot in the Senate because they only got one seat that year in the South Australia Labor. But you can't sort of tell people what to do in the Liberal Party at a branch level. They tend to do what they want.
But do you reckon, though, Phil, part of this might be the moderates have brought it upon themselves? Because when they had the numbers here at the state level, they didn't do a very good job of sharing power around with Conservatives. The party was at its best under Howard's leadership, and it was Howard who coined the term broad church to talk about how he had Vanstone and Hill and a lot of moderates there. But it just seems to be this permanent fight to the death in South Australia.
Well, look, even during the Howard years, Dave, it was the forces of Nick Minchin versus the forces of Christopher Pyne, and, they've been at war in South Australia, pretty much the factions since the early 70s, since the Great Split, between Steele Hall and Ren de Garis, but if you want to go, how far you want to go back. But, look, in terms of where the Liberal Party is at the moment, right, so let's look at it in context. Their branch in Victoria is just an absolute disgrace, ever since it got taken over by the hard right, and they can't, you've got probably the worst government since Federation in Victoria at the moment, and the opposition there can't get its act together to even present a viable alternative because they're caught in this same sort of factional warfare. It's the same in West Australia, where the hard right took over the branch over there, and they've got 2 members in the state parliament, they're virtually unelectable, and the same thing will happen in South Australia. I was sort of told a while back that had Anne Ruston not been given a winnable spot on the ticket, James Stephens could have kissed goodbye to his seat up in Sturt, and the party would very nearly split again like it did in the 70s, because it's just such a dumb look. People out there going to work every day don't care about the factional ascendancy in the South Australian Liberal Party. They see a talented woman who's got a senior position in the opposition relegated behind a bloke who's got no authority whatsoever, who's just a backbencher and a factional hack. That's what they see. It's how it looks from the outside, not how it looks from the inside, and whether someone deserves to be paid back for something that happened 20 years ago. And that's the bottom line. And it was a terrible look, and especially when the Liberal Party is trying to cultivate support amongst women. And it wasn't just the relegation of Anne to second spot; it was the comments Alex Antic made afterwards about the gender quotas and stuff. So it just undoes so much hard work when you do something like that. Terrible. Everyone over here was quite angry about it, including Jane Hume.
Well, she went on the record about it yesterday.
Yeah.
What's your just quickly, mate? What's your rate tip?
Oh, no change.
No change.
Go and spend. No, they won't change.
I don't reckon that's what Michelle Bullock's going to say after
No, she won't want that. She will. They won't change, but I reckon it's going to stay that way till about August, and then from about the second half of the year, you can expect a drop. Maybe August, September. Hopefully, that's the way it's tracking. But
it feels like they're going to wait a little bit to see what comes out of the budget, Phil. But all the noise
won't be before July.
No, but there's not going to be a whole bunch of goodies that are going to disrupt much in the budget, are there? It doesn't sound like that.
No, Jim Chalmers said last week they've announced most of it, and he said, look, there'll be a bit of cost of living stuff, but it's going to be minimal. It's going to be a fraction of what the tax cuts were worth. So don't get your hopes up too much. He's sort of warning the economy is starting to slow now, and in a few months' time we're going to be no longer worried about inflation. We're going to be worried about slow growth. And that means he's going to have to sort of spend money to combat that. But what that sets him up to do is to sort of spend a bit of dough closer to the election, which will be early next year or later this year. So we're sort of going through this transition at the moment. So even though the cost of living is still pretty bad, inflation's now down to about 4.1, and probably by the end of this year we'll no longer be talking about it. We'll be talking about having to keep the economy alive. there's a transition going, and the Treasurer's trying to get this message out, but it's sort of a bit of push and pull at the moment, and a bit confused. But that's where it's going. So there won't be a lot of spending in the budget. No.
All right, Phil. Thank you for that.
Phil
Curry, the political editor of the Australian Financial Review. We're going to, for the 5AA breakfast jury after the break, stress test the faith of Adelaide Crows supporters and maybe football fans everywhere that like to make predictions. A bit of a stress test. Where are you at after round one? That'll be the crux of the jury question we're going to ask you in a moment, because the vultures are circling at the moment. There is a rapid loss of faith that's happening in some circles of football punditry when it comes to the Crows' finals aspirations. We'll be asking you about that next. Let's check traffic first, thanks to Keezer. Are you tired of back pain? We'll try Keezer. KIESER.com.au.
Thanks, Will. At Prospect, residual delays from Elliott Crash on Main North Road near Dutton Terrace. Works at Ordnall, a little bit slow at the moment. Victor Harbour Road near Main South Road speeds at 40. Busy at Pennington, Addison Road near Hodgman Road with cameras this morning on the drive-in. Campbell Road at Elizabeth Downs and North East Road at Modbury. Amazon's Big Smile Sale is live now. Shop epic deals on electronics, homewares, beauty and more. Shop Amazon's Big Smile Sale now at amazon.com.au. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Thinking about a solar battery? Don't wait. Connect with NRG Solar and bring home a solar battery with a rock-solid 10-year warranty. Use the energy you generate during the day. Store some for later, reducing reliance on energy providers and putting money back in your pocket. See NRG Solar in their new premises at St Mary's. Bigger place, better space, some amazing people. Visit NRG Solar now at 1275 South Road or call 1300 858 160.
If you need to fix your pipes, call Precise. Call Precise. If your toilet's blocking up, call Precise. Call Precise. If your lights aren't turning on, or your hot water is gone, or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Precise.
Precise Plumbing and Electrical. Call 1300 700 200. That's 1300 700 200. Precise Plumbing and Electrical. Local and experienced trade specialists.
Or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Call Precise.
You've decided to build? It's exciting stuff. When you've found land, it's a good idea to get advice on what you can build on your new parcel of paradise. Get Steve from Beechwood Homes to take a look. There's no obligation, and you'll get a great understanding of what's possible. Sloping block, flat block, weird shaped block, or block on a cliff. Speak with Steve from Beechwood Homes for all the possibilities. Life's good. It's even better in a Beechwood home. Google Beechwood Adelaide.
Companies and small business that use one solution for their IT management, cybersecurity and AI implementation are always ahead of the curve and ready for anything. One Solution is local too, a full-service technology company right here in Adelaide, offering a diverse range of solutions across IT, telecommunications, phone and mobile systems, cybersecurity and AI. Today, more than ever, it's important to safeguard your business. Do it with One Solution. onesolution.net.au, a Platinum Telstra partner.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling businesses. Go on, touch base, search RWC Business Sales.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
In the criminal justice system, all defendants are innocent until proven guilty, either by confession, plea bargain, or trial by jury. This is one of those trials.
Sporting jury trial this morning. 8223 is the number if you'd like to be part of it. We wanted to test football pundits' faith and indeed Crows supporters' faith in their predictions for a finals-bound Adelaide side in 2024, given the available evidence, which was round one, which was, by any measure, underwhelming. Have a listen to Nathan Buckley to frame this debate, who was on the couch last night and scathing.
Be really interested to sit in Adelaide's review. I think it's a moment where the coach and the playing leaders are going to say that that's enough. That's enough close performances where we come back from behind.
Enough excuses?
I think so.
I think they're a bit of an excuse.
No, I don't think they're making excuses at all. But if you want to be an almost team, well, then continue down the path that you've been down for a whole year last year. There's young players there. I think they've got natural growth within them, but they've got to decide, are they going to be winners or are they going to be almost? And as early as one game into this season, I don't want to see, they might have another close loss, but you don't want to see a run of 4 or 5 of them again.
all the predictions pre-season with Adelaide are finals bound. I think most supporters expected the club to be finals bound. We're only in one round in, but we wanted to stress test your faith for the jury trial this morning. Will the Crows be playing or holidaying in September?
One of the many things I love about the 5AA Breakfast Show, Will, is before... When REM's The One I Love was playing, before we'd even set up this question, we already had 2 people on the line ready to vote.
People love being part of the jury, which is great. We've almost got professional jurors now, and then they'll go on the line and they wait to hear the arguments.
Self-impaneling.
Do you think the Crows will be playing or holidaying in September? And again, we ask it, no, it's round 1, we know, but we've got a very teensy bit of evidence, and I wonder if anyone's position has changed.
We've got 3.5 quarters worth of evidence.
3.5. The last bit... You might go, well, if that's the continuation...
Yeah, exactly.
They'll be playing.
Both sides of the coin.
And again, not just Crow supporters, football fans would have had an opinion on how the club will go this year.
Port fans, you're welcome to join in as well.
Absolutely.
You'd love revelling in our misery.
Exactly. Port fans might have said they were never that good. Of course they were going to be holidaying in September.
Sam Daddo in my head just said, can I? No, Sam, you're a producer. You can't be a juror too.
822 300 Get calling jurors. We've got a number of them already assembled, including professional juror number 1. Juror 1, the Crows, playing or holidaying in September?
Well, after Saturday night, I'd say talk is cheap and I'll be holidaying. And can I just add, it's wearing thin to have an oval start date.
Yeah, yeah. Well, echo that sentiment.
Yeah.
Juror number 2, playing or holidaying in September?
It's Helen here. I'm a Port supporter. They will be playing. It's an overreaction. It was a hot day. Gold Coast played the week before. I believe they're in it.
Thank you, Helen. We do afford jurors anonymity in the event, it's controversial.
But they can self-identify.
Yeah, if you like. Yeah, it's a bit like the US system here. You can go do an interview afterwards if you so choose.
Yeah, that's right.
Juror number 3, good morning.
Good morning.
What do you think, Juror?
I think they'll be holidaying based on that performance, and after 5 pre-seasons from Nick's, the skills are still not there by foot and by hand, and any renewal of contract before August would be stupid.
Thank you, Juror number 3. Juror number 4, playing or holidaying?
Boys, I'm going to blame the 5013 action group. They're stressing them out, and they'll be holidaying. I don't know what happened during the week with their meeting, but that's stressing them out. Seriously, that is stressing them out.
Okay.
I reckon it's a factor. The fact that you're going to train in something that looks like the back streets of Mogadishu when you've got
great.
Collingwood with the Emirates Centre, it is quite ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a discrepancy. Oh, it looks better now. It looks better now than it had for a while. It's actually quite beautiful, that park in that part of West Lakes now.
You must have to go training wearing one of those dust masks from Bunnings.
Yeah, it's better than that now. Juror number 5, good morning.
Good morning. Absolutely play. Go for it, Crows.
Good on you, Juror number 5. Like your conviction too. Juror number 6, good morning. Playing or holidaying?
They'll be holidaying, but I want to make a point. Who the hell Mark Bickley thinks he is? He was a great footballer, right? But as a coach, he had no idea. On top of that, I watched the game on the weekend, right? Until the fourth quarter, it looked like there were 2 amateur teams playing. So the Crows have got a long way to go. But don't forget, they would have been in the finals last year, except for one clown making a mistake and saying that ball went through so don't underestimate them. But I'm a Port supporter, so I hope they'll be on holiday.
Thank you, Juror 6. I'm not sure what Bix did.
No.
I mean, he wasn't involved much, as far as I know.
I don't get to hear him much anymore.
I don't know what he had to do with Saturday night. Juror number 7, good morning.
Hi, guys. Unfortunately, holidaying. The team on Saturday was much the same as the team that didn't quite get there last year. I counted minimum 3 players who just over 3 years haven't improved whatsoever. And I'm afraid it's not a good determination.
Okay, thank you, Juror number 7. Finally, Juror number 8, good morning.
Morning, guys. I think, based on what I saw for the first 3 quarters, keep checking your Foodland catalogue and stock up on your suntan lotion because you're holidaying, boys.
Thank you, Juror number 8. Well, I'll tell you what, the faith has been shaken on the basis of the jury responses.
That's 5 for holidaying, 3 for playing.
Yeah.
Bit of indignation on the old Dutton's text line as well. Tracy in Mawson Lake says, playing, just calm down. It's only round one, for goodness sake. And Quentin, our resident Gold Coast Suns fan, the only one we believe in South Australia.
Yes.
And a loyal listener to our program, he just simply texted and going, can I?
Well, Quentin may be of the view that Adelaide are absolutely finals bound and they'll just bested by the premiership favourite.
Yeah, well,
in a
exactly.
close-run thing up there.
Exactly.
That might be Quentin's view. I'm not quite sure.
But one of those jurors talking about round 23 last year, this might sound funny coming from me, but I think we've sort of made our point about that now, haven't we? And it feeds into the sort of woe is us narrative.
Yeah.
Sure, it's worth firing up about at the time. Yeah. And the AFL still hasn't sorted out goal line technology. You can see it every week. It's a
You've moved on. I didn't think you were ever going to move on.
But the problem is, it becomes all that stuff feeds into this sort of defeatist sense. And even when we should have made the finals, we didn't.
Yep.
And
loser talk.
It is
loser talk.
It is loser talk.
Just win.
You got to visualise greatness, Will.
Exactly right.
Isn't that what Ricky Bobby says in Talladega Nights?
Yeah, I think so.
Inter alia?
I think that's exactly right.
We're the boys from the bush and we're back in town.
8223 is our number. If you'd like to be part of the show, you can text us too on the Duntons text line. Big 10 Ford, GM Hyundai, Isuzu Ute, Mazda, Mitsubishi, Nissan, Ram, Subaru and Volkswagen. Duntons, they're easy to do business with.
Things like that happen. I don't know what's going on because I never go to those meetings.
No, that's all right. The front page of the Advertiser this morning about the disastrous financial situation the Adelaide City Council finds itself in, having to cut all manner of programs and raise rates to deal with deteriorating bottom line and their ability to service loans going forward.
To quote my grandmother, God rest her soul, you look after the pennies and the pounds take care of themselves.
Yeah.
Isn't the Adelaide City Council the classic example of what happens when you don't do that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because the amount of money they just, what away on frippery and absurdity, like the upkeep of a clearly dysfunctional pool when someone from the private sector was offering to build them a new one for nothing.
Yeah. Cost them $1 million a year. Now they're having to cut programs even significantly smaller than that because of an ideological problem with professional sporting teams.
And I also want to know, what's the place down at Corro? Adelaide Advanced Trees. How do you pay $20,000 for a tree? That is my number one question for today. What tree costs 20 grand? Maybe like there's a Bismarckia palm that you need to keep under glass, like the one they've got at the Botanic Gardens. Maybe that would cost you 20 grand. And you got to truck it down from
maybe they're going to
FNQ.
A few of them, a couple hundred of them.
Air condition it and all that. 20 grand for a street tree.
The end product of all this is that people who live in the city pay more in their rates, and so do businesses. If you fit into either of those categories, we want to hear from you this morning on 8223 0000. We're going to chat with the East End Traders Association after 8:30. But if you run a business in the city and you're hearing 7.2% increase in your rates at a time when business is tough, how does that make you feel? What do you think about the financial management of the City Council? Maybe just you're a ratepayer, a resident in the city who's going to see your rates go up. What are your emotions seeing the front page of the Advertiser this morning? Call us. We're going to get together all your responses and have a chat about this after 8:30 this morning. In the meantime, Karen correctly identified that Lee Kernaghan played a moment ago. Karen, good morning to you and congratulations. You're off to see Lee.
Yay, thank you.
What's more, Karen, you don't just get tickets for the concert on the 19th of April at the Hindley Street Music Hall. You've got a chance to meet Lee Kernaghan and win a signed guitar as well. I presume you're a massive fan, or at least someone in the family's a massive fan.
Yeah, we are.
Have you seen him before, Karen?
That would be awesome. No, I haven't.
Oh, lucky you. This is going to be
that would be awesome.
Cracker of a night.
Certainly will be. Congratulations to you, Karen. That draw will be announced shortly for the major prize. Karen's got tickets, but it could be so much more. 5AA News Time, breaking at 8, not too far away.
Get obsessed with the Honda SUV range at Formula Honda, Modbury and Glen Osmond. Whether it's the compact HRV, the sporty mid-sized Honda ZR-V, or the spacious CR-V. And for a limited time, new Honda SUVs come with a 7-year warranty, 7-year roadside assist, and 5 standard low-price services at $199 each. Visit Formula Honda, Modbury or Glen Osmond and test drive today. Vehicles used for a commercial purpose have a 7-year or 200,000 kilometre warranty, whichever occurs first. T's and C's at honda.com.au.
Join over 60,000 Adelaide homes and say yes to lowering your energy bills with Yes, your energy saving solutions. To beat the summer heat, Yes can connect you with a new air conditioner thanks to the SA government initiative called REPS. Yes is offering eligible concession households a fully installed 2.6 kilowatt Rinnai system for only $8.99. Yes, $8.99. For T's and C's on this unbeatable offer from Your Energy Saving Solutions, go to yess.net.au.
When you're a market-leading builder like Regent Homes, you never rest on your laurels. It's why Regent Homes is South Australia's only builder offering 3D virtual reality technology in their Envision Design Studio. At your first design meeting, you'll walk through your home in virtual reality. It's a wow moment, enriching your experience so you can make the right design choices from the start. Regent Homes. Innovative design, elevated living. Visit regenthomes.com.au.
The very latest news and information. This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
The shower at 2:24 today with the 8 o'clock news. Good morning. I'm Graham Goodings.
Physio, Pilates, hydro, massage, podiatry and exercise classes. Physio Extra's Holistic Care. PhysioExtra.com.
The supply of new homes across our capitals is expected to sink to its lowest level in a decade by 2026. Gabriel Hodson has more.
Across Australia's capitals, 79,000 new homes are due to be finished in 2026. That's a drop of 26% on last year, with planning bottlenecks and labour shortages being blamed. The Financial Review reports there are other roadblocks to housing, including a large backlog of properties that have been approved but not built, the cost of construction, and builders tied up with other major construction projects. Economists say to reach the government's goal of 1.2 million homes by 2029, the bulk would have to be apartments, which need a much longer time frame for planning and construction.
Rail services on the Outer Harbour line will be restricted this week as work progresses on the $51 million Port Dock Rail Line project. Buses will replace trains between Woodville Station and Outer Harbour Station at certain times. Electricity prices are set to fall from July. The energy regulator has released its default market offer, which sets baseline prices across SA. State Energy Minister Tom Kutzenturner says it's welcome news.
They're going down by nearly $500 for small businesses and 2.5% for households. It's a good small reprieve for households. It's heading in the right direction, but there's a lot more work to be done here.
Alcohol has been stolen from a bottle shop at Aberfoyle Park. Senior Constable Kate Dawson says patrols were called to Hub Drive just after 5 this morning.
They found a small hole had been smashed into the glass front doors and bottles of whiskey had also been left by the entrance. So it appears the suspect may have been disturbed partway through the break-in, we're thinking by a worker at a nearby business. So there have been a few bottles of alcohol stolen and the suspect left in a vehicle last seen heading north. Police searched the area but we've not been able to locate the suspect.
A new report backed by the UN says famine is expected between now and May in the north of the Gaza Strip. The Integrated Food Security Phase classification says about half of Gaza's 2.3 million population is already facing catastrophic hunger. World Food Programme Chief Economist Arif Hussain says we need to act now before it's too late.
We need full access, we need large quantities of food, and we need the ability to reach people where they are and provide them with this food as soon as possible.
Tributes continue to flow after the death of one of Adelaide's most colourful characters. Stormy Summers died just 3 days short of her 78th birthday. Frank Pangello says the former madam will be remembered for many things, including running for Lord Mayor.
Was one of Adelaide's most colourful and notorious characters and brothel keepers, and you know, and also at one stage in her life in the 70s was a popular stripper.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Agostino Mitsubishi's Good to Go giveaway is on now. Receive a bonus $1,000 fuel card on 2023 Build Outlander.
And here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Graham. The AFL's new site has been launched, but some of its future remains under a cloud.
Eddie Summerfield reports.
The Tasmania Devils, wearing myrtle green, primrose yellow and rose red, are slated to enter the AFL in 2028. The logo and nickname launched 6 days out from the Tasmanian state election. More than 50,000 people signing up to be foundation members in the hours after its launch. Labor is taking to Saturday's election a policy of renegotiating a deal to build a new roofed stadium. AFL Chief Executive Andrew Dillon maintains no stadium, no team.
It was a vital part of the case that was put to the Commission.
But Tasmania Chairman Grant O'Brien has told Wide World of Sports he's not concerned.
Some have got different ideas on stadium, but that's part of our job is to work with them.
Meantime, tonight looms as a crucial training session for Taylor Walker, who's out to prove he's overcome a back injury. Walker missed last week's clash against Gold Coast, but the club is hopeful the 33-year-old will return to the side. Well, practice will commence in 2 days for the Australian Formula One Grand Prix, which will feature two Aussies, Oscar Piastri and Daniel Ricciardo. A second English Premier League club has been docked points for spending breaches. Nottingham Forest has lost 4 points, meaning they're now in the relegation zone with 9 games to play. Meantime, the Times in London is reporting Melbourne will host English Premier League teams Tottenham Hotspur and Newcastle United in May. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Lynn Andrews Real Estate, experts in commercial and residential property management. lynnandrews.com.au.
Morning there. Residual delays are prospects at the moment. Main North Road at Dutton Terrace from an earlier accident. Works to look out for at Dry Creek, the north-south motorway near the Wingfield interchange. You've got road plates in use this morning at St Mary's there, South Road near Princess Parade, speeds at 40. You find early morning cameras Kelly Road, Modbury and Kings Road at Paralawi. Keep your family safe on the roads these holidays. Pop into Bob Jane T-Marts for a free tyre safety check. Call 13 26 25 today. They'll look after you. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automasters technician.
A shower or two, 24. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, 21. Thursday, sunny, 24. And Friday, also 24, mostly sunny. Right now, it's 19. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Stay informed, get involved. 5AA, always Adelaide.
This morning to talk about the prospect of rate increases, dramatic rate increases, 7.2% in the city to deal with.
Why does this matter? Because logic tells you any business that's hit with a rate increase, they're not just going to absorb it; they're going to pass it on.
They're going to pass it on, or it might push some to breaking point where they say there's no point trading. Fewer people in the city, it's getting more expensive to trade. Why bother? Also, residents of the city will cop the rate increase. So, how do you feel about it having to come because of profligate spending from the City Council? Front page of the Advertiser this morning, some of the details need to be seen in print to be believed, like the tree planting policy that would have seen trees planted at a cost of $20,000 per tree. I
love trees.
They weren't made of gold, by the way.
Yeah, what are they? Like magic money trees?
Yeah, well, that'd be good. That's what they need. Maybe they should have planted money trees. We'll talk about that after 8:30, but if you fall in the category of someone directly affected, or you've just got a view, we love hearing them. 8223 000. You can text us on the Duttons text line. Big 10 Ford, GWM Haval, Hyundai, Isuzu, Ute, Mazda, Mitsubishi, Nissan, Ram, Subaru and Volkswagen. Duttons, easy to do business with.
Well, it's probably the hottest political question in South Australia right now. Will Nicole Flint make a political comeback? And if so, where will she make it? Will it be in the southeastern state seat of MacKillop? Or will it be in her old seat of Boothby, the federal electorate, which she held as a member of the Morrison government? There is only one person in South Australia who has the answer to that question, and his name is Graham Corns.
One final question.
Yes.
Will we see you standing as a candidate for any of those southeast electorates?
It's not my intention to do so, Cornsey, but thank you. That's very kind. People are encouraging me, but it's not my intention to do so. If my heart's anywhere, it's still very much in Boothby. It's such a beautiful community.
So there you go. So Nicole did a sit-down, I think it was last week, with Graham Corns for Conversations, and you can hear the entire interview this Friday. But this is where the speculation came from. It's something we addressed yesterday with Stacey Lee. So word has got out through some sort of back channel that Nicole Flint has declared to Graham Corns that, yes, she is interested in making a political comeback. No, it is not at the state level, and that totally changes the dimensions for the Liberal Party internally at the state level, because there had been speculation that down the track, if Nicole Flint had entered state politics, she could have potentially been a leadership contender. It clears the path in, I don't know, a term or a couple of terms for Ashton and Hearn to have a clearer run at the top job. Others as well have been interested in it, Vincent Tarzia among them. But Nicole Flint, in her own words to Graham, will be playing no part in state politics, but very interested in making a return run, given she quit politics amid all of the Brittany Higgins stuff when she said Parliament had just become toxic and unbearable when she got out. She had a shocking personal time of it at the hands of GetUp, who monstered her unconscionably throughout the election campaign when she held the seat. And, you know, given that the moderates made a total hash of it last time, and given the numerical supremacy that the Conservatives are now starting to demonstrate, she would be in the box seat to make a comeback for Boothby, and with the residual goodwill she has from many voters, a pretty reasonable chance of taking it back off the Labor Party.
Big political story. Cornsey. Breaking stories left, right and centre.
It's a great story.
It is, absolutely.
Yeah, the other person to be cheering her on, Peter Dutton. He would be cock-a-hoop that she's interested in returning. He would have her full support. I know for a fact she's out this morning door-knocking in Dunstan. She's been on the ground there a lot, helping David Spears and the Liberal candidate. So, yeah, watch this space. Boothby, possibly at the next election.
8223 is the number if you want to be part of the show. Remember, too, you can jump on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream and share your thoughts there, or indeed watch along the program. So the wonderful work Brooklyn does, keeping you across all the developments with the news ticker and the weather and other vital bits of information.
And to wrap it up, that full Conversations will be playing on 5AA this Friday at 12:30.
All right, so you can hear the whole thing in context. That'll be really interesting.
I listened to it yesterday. It's good.
Let's have a look at the fuel situation. Refuel for less and stay ahead of the cycle with the RAA app's new Fuel Trends feature. Things are trending steadily at the moment. Unleaded in a lot of places is heading back to the $2 range, but the cheapest are still floating around the mid-$70s, like the ex-convenience Grand Junction Road Port Adelaide that's at $1.75.5. The OTR Marion Road Marion is at $1.75.5 also. The cheapest we've been at a spot is the United Main North Road Paraka that currently sits at $1.73.7. The cheapest diesel remains in the north. The United at Main North Road Paraka is at $1.84.5. Trevor in Seaford's called into the program. Morning to you, Trevor.
G'day. I've worked out what tree's worth $20,000.
Which one, mate?
It's one that all your kids think you've got a money tree.
Yeah,
that's right.
Exactly right.
The magic money tree.
I think the money tree's died for the city council. Well, no, the money tree's the ratepayer, I guess, if that's the moral of this story.
What about, did you see this story about the falafel house?
The fight we spoke about yesterday on the show. Really graphic vision of the punch up there. And a female police officer ended up with a broken arm.
What about the woman got bail? Her defence lawyer has tried to paint her as a hard-working, stay-at-home mum who was looking forward to a long-awaited night out courtesy of a babysitter. Now, you could relate to that, Will.
Yeah.
At your stage of life.
Yep.
You must, you and Alison, like the odd night, get a babysitter, go out together. Has it ever culminated with you entering, or no, actually, your wife, rather, because what we're talking about here, this woman, a hard-working, stay-at-home mum, just needed a night off. She ended up spitting on two police.
No, we've never got to the police spitting stage.
No.
Post-baby revelry.
This is the thing I find interesting. Her defence lawyer said Ms Haynes had a minimal criminal history. Minimal. What's minimal mean?
She hasn't spat that many times at police officers before. I don't know what it means.
She's only accused of spitting.
Accused of allegedly
police.
spat.
I just can't countenance a scenario whereby any normal couple go out for a romantic dinner and end up in a kebab shop gobbing on the cops.
Picking fights with random people that are sitting there waiting for their order.
We say it's not the case that this is a lady with a drinking problem or a drug problem. She's simply a hard-working, stay-at-home mother. And then how about this? It says here, the police officer sustained a broken arm, and that's not the subject of any charges. The 2 assault police charges come by way of 2 allegations of spitting. Like the fact that the lawyer would try to downgrade spitting as if it's no big deal, and then the magistrate says here, it says here in the paper, Magistrate Kate White granted Ms. Haynes bail due to her, quote, very limited history. Spitting on cops, like, we've all done that, haven't we? No.
Yeah. This isn't like you were caught in town having had a bit too much to drink.
Yeah.
And had to spend it the night in the drunk tank. It wasn't like over-exuberance.
No. I just find it wholly unrelatable, and I reckon all of our listeners do too.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's head to Aberfoyle Park this morning, because in our police report a little bit earlier, we learnt some details regarding a break-in that took place there. Mitch Sariovsky for 7 News is at the scene. Mitch, just bring our listeners up to speed with what's taken place at the Bottle-O there.
Yeah, good morning, guys. Well, crime scene investigators are currently here at Aberfoyle Park. It is the Liquorland in a small shopping centre off Hub Drive. It was just about 5:15 this morning when reports of alarms activating and someone trying to break in. So the suspect broke the front door of the Liquorland and went straight to the cabinet behind the counter and took top shelf alcohol. Now, he left in a car nearby, like he left, but it appears to have been he was disturbed by a worker at a nearby business. Police say he stole a quantity of alcohol and left in a vehicle, last seen heading north. They searched the area but couldn't locate the suspect. I had a brief chat to the manager this morning. They're saying this is not the first time it has happened here. They believe they recall at least one in the past 12 months, all up about 5, I've been told. But it just shows that people are getting quite desperate, guys, going straight into a liquor store, going straight to. We're not talking Johnny Walker Red. We're talking top shelf alcohol behind the counter under lock and key. So very disappointing, but police are still searching for the suspect.
Yeah, thank you for that, Mitch. Mitchell Sariovsky, you'll see those pictures on 7 News tonight. The thing that stands out in that report from Mitch is the tone from people who own shops and are in small business now that seems they're not comfortable with it. But for whom break-ins are now a regular occurrence. It's not.
You'd call it world weariness, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Well,
or
I just
resignation.
I think when it comes to something like home invasion, and Jade's talked about her own experience with this, it's a life-shattering moment where no one expects it to happen, and if it does, it's monumental.
Yeah.
For these guys now, it feels like, well, yeah, we've been broken into again.
Well,
how sad is that?
The interview last week with Shannon about the shoplifting in the mall. And then the moment the police announced a special operation, within less than an hour of it being announced, they've caught somebody. It just shows how people out there just on the take.
Well, the Police Commissioner will be joining us after 8:30 tomorrow. We're going to have a lot to talk to him about when it comes to these sorts of incidents. 18 minutes after 8, let's check traffic. We'll be back with more in just a moment. Thanks to Keyser. Are you tired of back pain? Try Keyser, KIESER.com.au.
Thanks, Will. At Prospect, Carvey parked car on Prospect Road near Regency Road. Slow for works at Brooklyn Park today, so Donald Bradford Drive near Maureen Road, speeds at 40, and sluggish at Seacliff Parks for activity there too, Ocean Boulevard near Schofield Road. Getting busy Porter Expressway at Port Adelaide with cameras this morning, Lower North East Road, Durnan Court, and Pittman Road at Windsor Gardens. Experience Italian football at its best as AC Milan and AC Roma go head-to-head at Optus Stadium in Perth. Don't miss out. Buy tickets now at ticketmaster.com.au. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA Sports Show. Stephen Rowe and Tim Jennifer.
Port Adelaide got the Chocolates by 50 points. There was an incident in the game.
And there were cot toys going everywhere.
Look, just for mine, he was that far out, his boots got wet in the Torrens. That's how far out he was. That is out by 2 miles. It looked a long way over the line.
The 5AA Sports Show.
It's ridiculous. You can't unbelievably allow that to happen.
Weekdays from 4 p.m. on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Need a forklift? Don't just get a forklift, get a Toyota forklift. Toyota is the world's #1 forklift brand with a great range of pallet jacks, walkie stackers and reach forklifts right up to their leading Toyota counterbalance forklifts. Legendary reliability and safety with cleaner, greener electric options. Toyota can tailor the right forklift solution for you. It's all part of the Toyota forklift advantage. For more, visit toyotamaterialhandling.com.au. Get a Toyota forklift.
NRG Solar have moved to a new location. It's bigger and better, and their new warehouse is fully stocked with wholesale solar and battery equipment. So, if you're looking to save money on electricity and help our environment, don't wait. Visit NRG Solar at their new office on South Road, St Mary's, where every 3 customers refer someone they know, which means they must be doing something right. Call into NRG Solar at their new premises, 1275 South Road, or visit nrgsolar.com.au.
With help from Flurio Milk Company, cafes all over Adelaide have joined the fight to reduce plastic waste. Instead of single-use plastic bottles, they've introduced reusable 18-litre kegs. Over recent months, a phenomenal amount of single-use plastic bottles have been eliminated, and every day the tally grows. Flurio Milk Company, together with cafes, supermarkets, schools, restaurants, hotels and workplaces, expect to save our planet from millions of single-use plastic bottles. Visit fluriomilkco.com.au for more.
The biggest threat to your business isn't your competition, it's cybercrime. Cybercrime threats impacting Australian businesses large and small continues to grow year on year. One call to one solution will put your business in a safe place and save you from the devastating consequences of cybercrime. It's the smartest, most cost-effective business decision you'll ever make. Stay safe and protected. Get in touch with One Solution. onesolution.net.au, a Platinum Telstra partner.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling businesses. Go on, touch base, search RWC Business Sales.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
21 minutes after 8, Butch has called into the program on 8223 0000. Morning to you, Butch.
Morning, guys. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks, mate.
Good. Just in the car driving to work and just overheard the conversation you guys were having about the spitting event with the girl in a kebab shop. And you just wonder, every morning you either hear it or read something about an event that's happened, generally some sort of crime. But when you look at this girl has spat in police officer's face that could finish up with COVID or HIV, anything, or worse than that.
Hepatitis.
What about the morale? You read about the police. Very hard to get police into the system. Why would you want to do it? With something like that happening, and I think one of the officers finished up with a broken arm was similar. Why would you want to be a copper when he goes to court and this sort of stuff happens? I mean, surely the system, the legal system, is at fault where the poor old cops walk out, broken arm, the person comes out giggling on the way out of court. I mean, there's something deeper than this. And I think it's in the legal system where the crime or the event doesn't have the penalty that it should, and there's no incentive for police to go and do their job, in my opinion.
Yeah, little wonder we've got a police shortage at the moment, is there?
Well, how's this text here from a serving police officer? As a cop, we're sick and tired of being used as society's punching bags. The government's next enterprise bargaining offer better be huge or we're walking. Fair enough.
Well, they're not supported by the system, are they? So you go out there in harm's way to deal with society's cretins, and then when inevitably something bad happens to you, well,
it's just the hard-working mum under pressure.
Or as Josh...
Slightly jubilant on account of having lined up a babysitter for the evening.
Or as Josh glibly puts it, gentlemen, just keep in mind with the Liquorland break-in, it was probably just a hard-working single dad having an early morning off.
Yeah, that's right. Thought they'd treat themselves to a single malt.
Unbelievable. Thank you for that, Josh. Yesterday, the news came through that one of the most colourful characters in this town's long history had died at the age of 77. Stormy Summers, who was known in various guises as a political activist, a one-time Lord Mayoral candidate, and someone who ran the most well-known brothel in Adelaide, died a few days short of her 78th birthday. She was well known by one of our own here in FIVEAA, our excellent newsreader, Jess Adamson. Jess, good morning to you.
Good morning, boys.
Jess, the piece you've got in today's Tiser is just superb. Pages 6 and 7, big spread with all the beautiful old photographs. I'm not sure who it was in the piece who said it, but what a crazy libertine existence Stormy led at a time when society was so buttoned down.
She really was ahead of her time, wasn't she? We knew her as, the colourful character that she was, but her work, kind of advocating for female sex workers and trying to legalise prostitution and the work that she did was something that really was pretty progressive back then. I knew her as somebody who was pretty strong in sticking up for the women that worked for her and for the lost and the lonely, but I didn't realise the extent of her compassion until I chatted with some of her friends yesterday, and just stories that I heard yesterday about, when the Grand Hotel was refurbished a few years ago. She went down there and bought all of their old blankets, hundreds of them, so to the point where she couldn't actually get her BMW that she'd won at the casino out of the car park because she had so many blankets. And then she just drove around with a friend to all of our parklands, dropping them off to the homeless, people who she really, really looked out for.
Now, Jess, I've got to ask, one of the funniest bits in this excellent piece of yours, you knew her so well that she once tried to teach you how to pole dance.
It's actually on camera too. There is a cameraman in Adelaide who I spoke to yesterday who has promised to keep it under lock and key. It was certainly on camera.
Oh wow! But you sort of became mates with her up to the point where when she got into some pretty significant sort of legal scrapes, you were in the thick of it.
Well, you never want to cross the line of being, a journalist that becomes part of the story, but that is how I did come to know her, and for some reason she did trust me, and we just had some really great conversations, over a fairly lengthy amount of time up at the penthouse, which was, was such an eye-opener to be taken up there. It was a fascinating place. It was huge and glitzy and absolutely immaculate. But we talked about a whole number of things, and then it got to the point where, she was heartbroken about losing that property. She felt that it was rightfully hers, and that's a whole nother story. But she really never got over moving out of that property because it was part of her identity. But yeah, when it came to the day when police moved in, and it was a pretty dramatic day, it ended with her ex-partner Mark brandishing a knife and Staff Force, police officers rushing in. I was probably fortuitously interstate that day, which is, I wouldn't have been up there with her. I certainly wouldn't have crossed that line. But I did always feel like I let her down a bit that day. She was ringing me, incessantly throughout it. She was just devastated to be kicked out.
So when you say the penthouse, was that in the brothel itself?
It was above, so it was, a 4-story building, and she had the 2 floors above the brothel.
Was she actually a sex worker, or was she just sort of the madam?
Well, I never really asked her those details, but it goes back such a long way. She was, a stripper and a dancer in the early days. She toured Hong Kong and Vietnam with Bob Hope, the comedian, during the Vietnam War. She actually first started dancing in New Zealand because she emigrated to Australia when she was just a little girl with her 3 older brothers and her parents and her grandmother. She ended up leaving school at 16. She went to New Zealand and started dancing there, then headed to King's Cross. And it was in the 70s that she set up her first business here in Adelaide. And I don't know exactly what her role was, but of course when I knew her, she was a madam and in charge of a number of sex workers who she was very, very strict on. I watched her and her dealings with them. She had an absolute zero tolerance for drug use with them, and she genuinely cared for their well-being.
Did you ever meet the women who worked for her?
Yeah, I did. Yep, I met a number of them.
Amazing. What an incredible life in a city that's, often regarded as stuffy and buttoned down. Not so with Stormy.
No, absolutely not. I'm not sure she really ticks all the boxes for a state funeral, but surely a statue or something in Light Square. Surely we owe Stormy Summers something for what she's given our city.
Yeah, well, no, and as I was saying, if you haven't got the paper today, buy one, because your piece, Jess, is worth the price of entry alone. It's yet another cracker from what's becoming one of the must-read columns in the Tyres of Jess Adamson, 5AA's own Jess Adamson there, remembering Stormy Summers.
We got a text from Stacey. I knew of this story. I wasn't going to bring it up unless Stacey mentioned it herself, but she's texted in on the Duttons text line saying, another Stormy 5AA link. I moved into that property once they turned it into apartments. I was always too scared to examine the floors and walls too closely, says Stacey. I was there the day she discovered, because Stacey moved from Sydney and she was working. She was a political reporter at the time. I was working in politics, and we're having some idle chat. And she said, "Oh yeah, I've just got this new apartment." And someone said to her, "You mean the Stormies?" She went, "Oh, what's that? Like a nightclub or something?" No, it was a brothel. She went, "What? No, it wasn't." And then they went and described inside the rooms because they knew the person who built them, and it all became
probably
clear.
Explains why there's a pair of fluffy handcuffs left behind.
Thank you, Stacey. It was a very funny story at the time, and she became aware of the something that had been left out of the real estate brochure, I suspect.
I did like the slightly bawdy text too on the Duttons line from Bud at Hewitt. He said one thing about Stormy's business was it was always up and down. Thank you for that, Bud.
5AA News Time.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
The shower at 2:24 today with the 8:30 news. I'm Graham Goodings.
Injured or living with chronic pain? Book an appointment at Physio Extra today. 6 locations. physioextra.com.
Household power bills are set to fall by as much as 7%, with even greater reductions for small businesses. But the federal government says there's more work to do to bring power prices down even further. The energy regulator has announced its draft default market offer, which kicks in from July. Energy Minister Chris Bowen has told Today it's an encouraging start.
What the energy regulator has found that a combination of bringing more renewables on, coal and gas caps, reduced international pressure, and also a request from me and the state ministers to prioritise consumers has led to these reductions.
Housing supply is expected to dip to its lowest level by 2026, leaving the nation short of its goal of building 1.2 million homes by 2029. Analysis by the Urban Development Institute shows just 79,000 new homes will be finished in the year, down 26% compared with last year. Cheaper childcare could unleash a huge new workforce of Australian parents. Gabrielle Hodson says the pressure is on the federal government to make childcare affordable for families.
One economist saying it's as important to the Australian economy as free government schools and Medicare. The Productivity Commission has found a fully subsidised system for low-income families would free up so many parents and carers it would add the equivalent of 207,000 full-time workers to the economy. That's almost the entire population of Hobart. But it would come at a cost. SMH The Age reports that ditching the work and study requirements for parents and covering the hourly cap would set the budget back by $2.5 billion a year. The Commission also wants a complex subsidy ditched in favour of something simpler, such as a Canadian system where parents pay a flat $10 a day.
Aviation firefighters have postponed industrial action until after the Easter long weekend. The United Firefighters Union has voted strongly in favour of future action if safe minimum staffing standards and fatigue management isn't brought in. 90% of members voted in favour of industrial action. Aviation Branch Secretary Wes Garrett says current understaffing is creating unsafe situations.
We take our job seriously and there is a risk to safety. If in the event of a major air disaster at any of the airports in Australia, we need to have properly equipped, properly staffed aviation, fire and rescue services ready to respond at a moment's notice.
A drink drive has been caught at Maslin Beach. Senior Constable Kate Dawson says his Mitsubishi Lancer was spotted idling in a car park on Bowring Hill Road late last night.
Police spoke to the driver, who's a 34-year-old Morphettvale man, and submitted him to a breath test. The man allegedly returning a positive reading of .139. Checks revealed the man's licence was also suspended, so he's been reported for drink driving and driving suspended and lost his licence, or the prospect of getting a licence, for a further 12 months.
The first video has emerged of the Princess of Wales in public after undergoing abdominal surgery. TMZ published the footage of Prince William and his wife Catherine at a farm shop in Windsor. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Agostino Mitsubishi's Good to Go giveaway is on now. Receive a bonus $2,000 fuel card on 2023 Build Triton.
And here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Graham. AFL Chief Executive Andrew Dillon says the roofed stadium remains a non-negotiable for a new footy team, no matter which party's elected at this weekend's Tasmanian state election. The AFL's newest side will be known as the Tasmanian Devils. The club was launched last night, revealing a green jumper with a large yellow map of Tasmania and a big red T in the middle. Still on footy, and Fremantle coach Justin Longmuir has told Fox Footy's AFL 360 that Brennan Cox could be out for most of the season after injuring his hamstring.
He'll need surgery on that hamstring to be able to repair it. I'm not a doctor, but somewhere between 12 to 15 weeks, I would imagine.
Yeah, disappointing. Meantime, one of the rising stars of the AFL is remaining tight-lipped about his future at Sydney. Errol Goulden finished equal fourth in last year's Brownlow medal and is out of contract at the end of the year. The 21-year-old telling Wide World of Sports negotiations are ongoing.
I'm probably one that's happy to just keep playing footy and let it sort itself out in due course. And but in the same regard, I want to respect the footy club and make sure that I'm doing the right thing by them as well.
Soccer fans will get the chance to see Premier League stars as part of a global football week to be held in Melbourne in May. Tottenham Hotspur will play Newcastle United, the first time Ange Postecoglou returns to Melbourne since taking over as head coach of Spurs. And American Keith Thurman has reportedly pulled out of his fight with Tim Tszyu in Las Vegas after picking up an injury. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thanks, Tom. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Lynn Andrews Real Estate. Experts in commercial and residential property management. lynnandrews.com.au.
G'day there at Prospect. Carvey parked car on Prospect Road near Regency Road. Slow going for works at Brooklyn Park, Sir Donald Rabbit Drive near Marion Road. Getting busy at O'Halloran Hill, Main South Road near Lander Road. And sluggish Park Terrace at North Adelaide heading into the city. Cameras Darley Road, Paradise and Gwyn Street at Firle. Need an energy top-up? Get your daily dose of energy with Synovus Women's Multi-Plus Energy Boost. Always follow the directions for use. Supports energy levels. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automasters technician.
A shower or two and 24 today. Tomorrow partly cloudy 21. Thursday sunny 24. Friday mostly sunny 24. Right now it's 19. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Join over 60,000 Adelaide homes and say yes to lowering your energy bills with Yes, your energy saving solutions. Yes offers a range of money-saving solutions to upgrade your home and downgrade your energy bills. With subsidies on ceiling insulation, air conditioning, hot water services and LED lighting installations, rebates on new appliances and incentives for recycling your old fridges, it's easy to say yes to Yes. Find out more about your energy saving solutions. Go to yess.net.au.
Are you thinking about a sea change? Where you can walk to the beach and be part of a close community? Think Oakford Homes at Encounter Bay. You can live in a brand new low maintenance home with all facilities close by. Fixed price turnkey packages, flat land, ready to build. Move in now or invest for the future. Oakford Homes at Encounter Bay. Come down for a drive and look through our display village and see why Stage 1 is nearly sold out. Oakford Homes, a statement of quality. oakfordhomes.com.au.
City Discount Tires. Get saving this month at City Discount Tires. Grab 3 Falcon Zeek ZE 310R passenger car tires and get the 4th tyre absolutely free. Experience top-notch performance with exceptional grip on both wet and dry surfaces. Steer your way to citydiscounttires.com.au for even more great deals. City Discount Tires. We're driven by value. City Discount Tires.
How awesome! Mawson Lakes Volkswagen has plenty of Tiguans and Amaroks in stock. Tiguan Allspace is a 7-seater with plenty of room and plenty of smarts featuring auto park, adaptive cruise control and lane assist. And the latest generation Amarok has a big 1-ton payload and 3.5-ton towing capacity. But inside, you'll get all the comforts of a luxury vehicle. There's plenty of stock that must go. Hurry in for a deal. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen, Salisbury Highway, just a short drive from the city. 5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling businesses. Go on, touch base. Search RWC Business Sales.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
21 minutes to 9, a little bit of breaking news. And I don't think in the 9 or so years we've done this, I don't think I've got to say this, but the Australian Energy Regulator has released its default market offer determination for the year ahead, the financial year ahead. Power prices are going to come down from July 1. This is something of a surprise. So they've just released their draft determination. The full thing will come out in May. But
from July 1.
But this is a pretty good guide. For people on the default market offer, there are 61,000 residences in South Australia, nearly 62,000. It's about 7.6% of energy customers. There are 14,600 businesses on the default offer, which is 16.7%. The default offer is the maximum effectively you can charge for electricity. It's in place as a safety net. But it does guide the market a little bit as well. And it's a sign that perhaps some good news on the energy front. So if you look at SA Power Networks, the default market offer change year on year for residential customers is about $57. If you're a small business, it looks like it's somewhere in the order of nearly $500, down 8.2% on the default market offer.
Would part of this be linked to the fact that AGL made like a completely eye-watering profit?
Yeah, because part of what the regulator has to do is work out, well, what's the maximum that you can charge that doesn't effectively mean people can't afford power, but also allows a bit of room for the businesses to make money, to reinvest, do all those kinds of things. So they try and balance the two things. Yes, banking a lot of money would be in the market. I don't know if that specific case informs them, but it would be a sign more broadly that the energy generation business is profitable, and there's probably a little bit of fat that they could take out of it. The other thing is that's significant, and I'm just reading their statement, it's only literally just come out at the moment, is that they received effectively direction from ministers federally to say, hey, given cost of living at the moment, what you consider the usual buffer that exists in terms of how much these companies need to make money, to reinvest in infrastructure and innovate, maybe we can thin that a little bit, given the current circumstances that exist. So that's going to be a big story over the course of the morning today. Here is Claire Savage, who heads up the energy regulator, speaking on Sky just a few moments ago.
From our perspective, we are telling customers the default market offer is not your best offer. It's not the best offer in the market. It's important to shop around. We can see right now that the most competitive offers in the market are actually 18 to 23% below the default market offer, so there's lots of opportunity to save.
There's nuance in this, and you can get very technical very quickly, but if you look at some of the figures I've just read out with regard to the residential market, that doesn't take into account people have controlled load or not. So you have to check your individual circumstance. But the reality is something that we've rarely got to speak about, and that's that the default market offer is lower. Power prices are coming down as of July 1.
Power prices might be coming down, but council rates are set to go up in the CBD, not by inflation either, up to 7.4%, along with increases in fees and other charges. Frank Hannantan is the president of the East End Coordination Group. Frank, thank you for joining us. Could you give us a sense, what's the trading environment like at the moment? Every passing day we seem to open the paper and see that there's another cafe or restaurant that has hit the wall. Is it something that you think businesses could absorb in the current climate?
Oh, good morning, David and Will. Thanks for having me on. Look, I don't think it's something that businesses in the CBD can or in the City of Adelaide can easily absorb. Hospo is still struggling. Growth in the December quarter was just 2% in Australia, which is essentially a statistical rounding error, and businesses in the city are doing it hard. Look, I see, we have just had Fringe, but I guarantee that most of the businesses that have made money during that time are paying down tax. The ATO is actively chasing hospitality businesses and businesses with outstanding debt at the moment. It's just not an easy environment out there.
Yeah, the ATO sound like they're being quite gung-ho at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah, well, look, they really are. Look, I guarantee that the majority of hospitality businesses out there are on tax plans. They're chasing their tails. The City of Adelaide has struggled to attract people back into the city, and as a result, businesses are doing it tough. 7% increase is just huge on top of 5% increase in wages year on year. There's just no way that we can absorb this.
Well, two things I wanted to ask about. The crime, the spate of crimes in the city over the last few months, and also working from home. Are they issues for the people you represent?
Look, they are. If people don't feel safe going into the city, they're just going to go to their local. They're just not going to come into the city. The effort has to be made to do that. But to be fair, the police are very active in consulting with businesses and precinct groups, and do give us a lot of information about how to quickly notify them about those kind of activities and incidents. So I'm very confident that they're being proactive about it. Work from home is a difficult one, given the type of business out there. There's no doubt that people enjoy having the flexibility to work from home and to go into the office. And the reality is I think that a lot of people, when they come into the city, they come in to do their work socialising. So they go out to cafes, they have meetings, and they go out for lunch and this kind of thing. I think it might be, look, a little over-egged. I think more people in the city is important, but it's not the be-all and end-all.
So what would your message be to the City Council?
Look, I get it. The Adelaide City Council, City of Adelaide, has a fiscal responsibility, but they do use hospitality businesses as a major draw card for things like Tour Down Under, the Gather Round. You see it at the airport when you come in. They're showing off restaurants in the CBD. Rundle Street. Give us a go.
Yeah,
There are empty shops up and down there. It cuts both ways.
So does the transaction go both ways though, Frank? It sounds like they rely on you guys a lot. Do you feel like you get much support from the City Council?
Look, they do work hard to attract people in there, and during the recent Fringe, they've worked very hard to have their City Unleashed program, and they help us rent furniture and coordinate the street closures, which everybody loves, and we're certainly very grateful for their proactive nature on that. But we can't absorb a 7.4 increase on the overheads in our leases on top of that.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they're listening, and hopefully they pay attention. Good on you, Frank. Frank Hannantan, the president of the East End Coordination Group.
I just wonder what option they've got. If you need to raise that money just to service your loans, we're not talking about budget restoration beyond that. Well, what alternate revenue streams does the council have?
Hey, one cost of living story that was slightly amiss. When we were talking about the Adelaide Oval food and drink prices, and it was billed as, these are the prices for this season. It wasn't like they decided last week to do that. It was actually last October. But the reason the story came about was, footy season's about to start.
And they were showing off all the new food products.
Yeah. But the prices, because I said on air, why on earth would they make the timing of it that they announce it a week, before the first home game? The thing is, they actually did make the decision in October last year. So it's not like they've actually tactically done it to cash in on the fact that the footy season has started. They did it, close to 6 months ago. So it's not deliberately timed to hit people when they know that there's going to be big crowds. So that part of the story was wrong. But I tell you what's wrong as well. Setting aside whenever they did it, and this isn't a specific knock on the Adelaide Oval, it's a knock on just all businesses thinking that they can get away with things. Like talking here, big businesses thinking in the context of the debate we're having around supermarkets. My son went to the West Coast game, West Coast Port, and he bought a pump bottle of water, and it cost $8.40. How the hell does something that comes out of a tap cost $8.40?
It's ludicrous, isn't it?
$8.40.
Because we pay it. That's why. Because we pay it.
That's just staggering.
It's
$8.40.
Yeah, I said this the other week. So we complain about petrol that's $1.75 that has to be drilled by giant bores, staffed by hundreds of people, and then shipped halfway around the world.
From places like Caracas.
Yeah, that's right. And we go $1.75 a litre. You're kidding. You've got to be cheaper than that. Yep, $8.50 for 600 mils. Yeah, well.
It's absurd,
For
isn't it?
water.
Yeah.
Water, which you can get for free.
Well, yeah, but if you're at the Oval and you haven't taken a bottle along and you want one, what are you going to get?
No, well, that's exactly
go
right.
Go to the Dunnies and
Yeah,
drink
you're
out
not
of the
gonna
hand
drink out
basin?
of the faucet, eh?
No. Well, there aren't any at the ground. There's no drinking fountains.
No.
Not
No,
that
you don't have a choice.
No.
If you're going to buy when you get there.
But you can't ask, the lady, the Chico roll counter, do you mind if I just pop
can I
into
have
the
a cup of
kitchen?
water, thanks.
Just, brought my own foam cup.
But because we pay it. It's ludicrous.
$8.40.
It is ludicrous.
That to me, that's like when blueberry hit $10 a punnet last year. It's one of those moments that just makes you shake your head.
Andrew's called into the program on 8223 Morning to you, Andrew.
Good morning, Will. In regards to the City of Adelaide, I live at Hurdle Square, right? And I've lived there for 6 years in apartments there. There's only one way. They've got to get more residents, more apartments. But it's a bit hard when you've got a Deputy Lord Mayor and another councillor well-known up in North Adelaide that are against apartments. It needs to be done. They need to increase the number of residents in the city itself to increase their rate base. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, well, that'd be one way of tackling it, beyond just taxing the people that currently exist and trade
Exactly.
there.
The city's population was at its highest in the 1940s.
Yeah, it's been significantly, though, that point for the last 40, 50 years.
I like this one from Helen. Morning, is the City Council trying to shut the city? Fair question. This is crazy, isn't it?
10 to 9, we're going to check traffic and come back in a moment with more on your energy bills, because the energy regulator has just released a draft determination on the default market offers that says there's good news on the way from July 1. Chris Bowen has just held a press conference in which he talks about the situation in South Australia, so we'll hear from him in just a moment as well. But first, let's check traffic thanks to Keezer. If you're tired of back pain, try Keezer, KIESER.com.au.
Thanks, Will. At Prospect, Carvey parked car on Prospect Road near Regency Road. Slow for works at Old Noarlunga, Victor Harbour Road near Main South Road, and busy at St Mary's South Road near Princess Parade with road plates there split at 40. Sluggish Park Terrace at North Adelaide with cameras Cully Road, Modbury, and Gwyn Street at Firle. Turn your electric dreams into reality. Get $2,023 cash back on the award-winning 2023 model BYD Atto 3 for a limited time. Visit BYD today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
On 5AA mornings today, council rates are going up above inflation, but electricity prices will fall. There's a surprise. We'll talk about that today. And a call for compensation for taxi drivers amid claims Uber had been operating illegally in its early days here in South Australia. Those stories, a lot more too. Your calls are very welcome, of course. I'm Matthew Pantelis. Look forward to your company from 9.
Mate, it was so easy. Drop the car into Automasters. Next thing, I get a video on my phone.
AutoCam. It's new from Automasters.
The service advisor is there live doing a real-time report on my car.
Real-time video sent direct to you from your Automasters technician.
He shows me the problem, makes a recommendation, and look, there's the quote.
So good. Totally transparent, instant SMS approval, and Automasters pay later options.
AutoCam, the future of vehicle servicing here now. Call 1300 Automasters.
Some builders think a sloping block has limitations. When Beechwood Homes look at a sloping block, they think, the possibilities. Beechwood Homes know how to make the most of a sloping block. In fact, they specialise in them. Beechwood will design a home that works with the land you have, taking full advantage of every square metre. So if you're looking at a sloping block, go for it. Beechwood has your back. Life's good. It's even better in a Beechwood home. Google Beechwood Adelaide.
Get obsessed with the Honda SUV range at Formula Honda, Modbury and Glen Osmond. Whether it's the compact HRV, the sporty mid-sized Honda ZR-V, or the spacious CR-V. And for a limited time, new Honda SUVs come with a 7-year warranty, 7-year roadside assist, and 5 standard low-price services at $199 each. Visit Formula Honda, Modbury or Glen Osmond and test drive today. Vehicles used for a commercial purpose have a 7-year or 200,000 kilometre warranty, whichever occurs first. T's and C's at honda.com.au.
It's Ian Healy, and I'm here to talk to you about back pain and Keezer. If you're one of the 80% of Australians who suffer from back pain, it's tempting to do nothing. But this can cause weaknesses down the road. The best place to start with back pain is exercise, and the best place to exercise is Keezer. Keezer's physios and Swiss-designed strength training equipment help you build strength in a supervised environment. I go to Keezer, and you can too, at our new clinic in Norwood. Book your initial assessment at keezer.com.au.
I booked the car into Automasters. Next thing, there's a video on my phone.
Shows me the problem, makes a recommendation, and look, there's the quote.
So good. Totally transparent, instant SMS approval, and Automasters pay later options.
AutoCam, new from Automasters.
Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling businesses. Go on, touch base, search RWC Business Sales.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
6 to 9, a lot of great contributions to the program over the morning on the Dutton's text line. Big 10 Ford, GWM, Haval, Hyundai, Isuzu, Ute, Mazda, Mitsubishi, Nissan, Ram, Subaru and Volkswagen. Dutton's easy to do business with on the Foodland Supermarkets, Facebook and YouTube live stream as well. Apologies to those we haven't gotten to. Developments in the last half hour regarding your power bills. Some good news for people on the default market offer. The energy regulator has just released their draft determination that says power bills as of July 1 will be coming down. Here's the Energy Minister, Chris Bowen, a short time ago.
The result shows the impact of the government's coal and gas caps. It shows the impact of lessening international pressures. It shows the impact of getting more renewables into the system, the cheapest form of energy available. And it shows the impact of my request, along with state ministers, to the Australian Energy Regulator to prioritise the needs of consumers and put consumers first in this draft default market offer rather than competition. So this is encouraging, but a long way to go. I welcome the fact that for small businesses in particular, in some jurisdictions, there are reductions in the case of those on the Ausgrid network of 9.7%, in South Australia 8.2%, Energex 0.3% and Endeavour 4.4%. And of course reductions for consumers, for example 3% for Ausgrid, and in relation to with controlled load 7% for Endeavour, 3.4% for Ausgrid.
So potentially some good news for South Australians who were covered by
What was that
networks.
percentage for us seemed higher than the others?
Yeah, well, it depends on how you look at it. So South Australia would be, and again, you do want to go by the real decrease that factors in inflation or just the net decrease. So 2.5% or 5.8% for people without controlled loading residents. For businesses, 8.2% the change year on year. This is down 11.5% if you do it in real terms. So some good news there.
Good news too. Apparently, you can get water at the Oval for free.
Saying this,
yeah, we had a
water
few
fountains.
texts about it. Well, of course, you can get it at bars because of
you have to
responsible service of
I think
alcohol.
Radine's called in on this. Radine, good morning to you.
Hello, how are you?
Good, thanks, Radine. How are you going?
Good, good. I was at the football on Sunday. It was very hot. And you could get free water at bars. Yeah, they had like a Puricap thing.
Yeah, right, okay. Well, that's
large
good.
Glass of ice, large glass of water for free.
There you go.
Well,
There's an alternative to
Tell
the
Jim
$8.
could have saved himself $8.40.
He could have. Yeah, give them look around.
Absolutely.
Shop around.
Well,
Yes, it's good advice, right?
At least it shows that on the cusp of officially turning 18, he's not trying to go to the bar. Because if he did go to the bar, he might have found the free water.
Exactly right. Yeah, he's staying away. Do you see that? We've got a text on the Dutton's text line too about the ginger beer.
Oh, yeah, this one here. We went to the footy on Saturday, went to get a glass of stout, as I have over the years at the football, but there was no stout, and they're not having it this year, so I settled instead for a can of alcoholic ginger beer. $15 a can. Surely not.
Yeah, that's
$15.
That is significant. Some would say very high, as so too is the UV index for today. Top of 24 today. Shower or two developing. You might not think that that's the case, but the good people at SunSmart want you to know that even on a day like today, you can get burnt. When the UV's 3 and above, cover up, use sun protection, stay SunSmart, and download the SunSmart app. We're out of time. Matt Pantelis is coming up in just a moment, and we'll catch you tomorrow morning from 6 o'clock.
Are painful muscle cramps ruining your workout or waking you up at night?